Yes, yes, yes. Hello, welcome to Coffee with Curmudgeons. Hey, we're a little bit late, and that's because of stuff, but that's okay. We were kind of scrambling around, hitting the buttons and everything. It's like you don't do it for a day or two, and you forget what happens. What happens? Anyway, I'm Doc Normal. I'm here with Jason Allen.
Greetings, Earthlings.
Hello.
All right, it's Friday.
It is Friday.
And I'm going to do a man law right now. I'm going to come out. I proclaim
Man
it.
law.
I proclaim it. Feel Good Friday.
You know what? You're not going to believe it. Drum roll. Everybody, are you ready?
Want a
for
rim
this?
shot?
No, I want to wait.
Okay.
I want to wait for your reaction. Are you ready?
Yep.
Today is a Feel Good Friday.
Hey!
I know, right?
Hey, kids, it's Feel Good Friday.
First time you've ever heard me say that before.
Well, that makes it an extra special occasion.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It does. Because, the reason I'm late for this show is because I got ready, and you're back. You're feeling better.
Hello, everybody. I'm feeling much better, thank you.
You've been we weren't sure.
Oh, the kid brought home the flu from school. She gets a mild case, but she snaps back great. But me, oh no. I'm laid low, laying there in bed, watching. This is how bad it was.
Myself a few times.
On the Jason scale of crappy flu things, I was at the Harry Potter level, where you're feeling so bad you don't want to get out of bed, so you watch all 7 of the Harry Potter movies.
Seriously?
I was at the Harry Potter.
And then you watched the Harry Potty movie, but that's when the kids were away on Stars After Dark.
That's right. Cinemax late at night. And
I'm sorry. All right. German version.
I'll just say that Harry's wand wasn't what I thought.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, gosh.
See, there's no call for that. We're supposed to. We're on
Feel Good Friday. Sorry,
we're on TV now, which I should pull up the schedule. But we're on. We have TV stuff going, and we try to, even though we could be on the after, it would be interesting.
After hours, late night.
What do you think of that film, Jason? Oh, I felt that the skin tones were top notch.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I got HD, so I saw all her acne, and I tell you, it just kind of.
Well, I think it's fair to talk about the adult industry,
skin
today,
blemishes,
because because I think that's newsworthy-ish.
Okay.
Would you say this week?
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, would I be lying if I said it wasn't a bit newsworthy?
Well,
the adult entertainment industry.
What, Stormy Daniels or whatever?
Stormy Daniels.
She's been in the
She has a real name. I mean, obviously that's a stage name. I can't remember what her real name is. It's
probably gonna be something like Myrtle Arbamowitz or something. Yeah. Just something totally normal that
No, it's not.
Or Jane Smith. Just something totally.
Not. It is not that, but she has a name, right? It's not. Yeah. She was not christened with Stormy Daniels.
I shall dub you Stormy.
Yeah.
Maybe she cried a lot as a kid, and so she's Stormy.
Yes.
Don't worry about her. We send her to her room all the time.
Oh.
I don't know.
You know what?
Yeah.
Now I just want to see the video in the Catholic Church at the christening, and they're just christening with the porn stage, with the adult stage names. It would be like, Johnny Thunder,
right?
Johnny Thunderpants.
Get there, he's got the stole on. Yeah, and Patri Filii Spiritus Sancti, I W Stormy.
Yes. Yeah, I mean that's Stormy Daniels is a little bit more tame than others, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm a little bit of a lunger today myself, but yeah. So what's the deal?
Well, she...
what's the deal with her?
Well, she originally made the news because she was supposed to have gotten hush money from our commander-in-chief.
$130,000, right? Was it something like that?
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's six figures.
Some good.
6 figures, yeah, and they paid her to keep quiet, but I guess he stiffed her on the payment, and so she kind of,
Yeah, $130,000 payment for adult film star Silence.
For Silence. I will pay you to shut up. Yeah.
The headline, just looking at the headline, the first headline up here on the Google News is alleged Trump mistress Stormy Daniels to sit down with Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, Kimmel.
To sit down. It's not. I don't think.
Oh, Kimmel. That's just not going to end well. Or hey, if you're in high comedy like us, it could end really well, right?
Oh, no.
Well, no, Kimmel, because he's got that quirky style, and he's not going to go from a straight point interview. It's not going to be old 60 minutes Harry Rather. It's going to be, he's going to come at it from some angle to make, maximize that comic efficiency. And yeah.
Now look at me. So, you're talking and I'm like sitting here doing this, doing the chicken. Yeah. I'm looking for my phone. I don't know where my phone.
I was stretching it out. Just like talking, Yeah, that's why.
Where's my it was just right here. I didn't leave it outside or something.
You want me to call it?
I don't know. Where the heck did it go?
I don't know.
This is great. Welcome to Coffee with Curmudgeons, Senile Edition.
That's right.
No,
Where's my phone?
I had it in my pocket.
Bet you those neighbor kids took it right off the lawn.
I had Alexa and my. I don't think it's like over in there in the thing. I'm gonna go check.
Okay.
So Jimmy Kimmel book story. Yeah, I like to sit down with Jimmy Kimmel. That's. So anyway, yeah. So and they claim that it didn't happen, but it's kind of like here's the deal. If you pay $130,000, someone, it's kind of like. And then the whole thing is now they're doing the Switzerland Davos thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the president went to Davos, but the first lady was going to go to Davos, and now she's not.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a scheduling conflict or if there is trouble in paradise. I don't know. Very interesting. There it is. Phone found, everyone.
Back pocket.
Crisis.
Just the back pocket. It was just in the back pocket.
Crisis averted, people.
Isn't this just the typical old man kind of thing? Phone? I mean, it is Coffee with Curmudgeons.
You want to know something great? The other day.
Where's my glasses? Where's my glasses?
Right. This happened to me the other day. I'm like, I'm like bedridden, and so I got to get up, and so I put on my slippers, and then I look around by my feet and everywhere else, and I go, "Where's my slippers?" And like seriously, for like 3 minutes, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, my slippers just went walkabout and whatever." And then I look down on my feet, and there's my slippers, and
but
I'm old.
You could get a pass.
Yeah.
In that case, when you're sick, like when you have the flu or whatever, you could be like,
I don't think.
I have an excuse.
I just. Nah, I gotta. It's on me. When it's like literally on my feet, and I'm like lifting my feet up, like don't find my slippers. Where are they? So the wife just patted me, put a little helmet on my head and told me to sit in the corner.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm muting my phone now. Look. Perhaps we should talk about the Galaxy S6. The S6, right? I have this as an S6. Great phone. Mm-hmm. Every phone, I have to say, is curmudgeonly and cranky, and now I'm in a good mood today. What the heck? We need to have a meeting. It's like, Doc, you're supposed to come in here curmudgeonly and angry.
That's right. Someone put tacks in his chair to get him upset.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's ambush him.
Remember, I got a message this week, right? Remember last Friday? Yes. We'll talk about that. Yeah. And it was like, the message was, I hope that no one hates me as much as you hate Matt Lauer. Because you've heard me. I mean, I think I've done it on the show. He's my whipping boy.
Well,
In fact, I think that's what he's doing now as a job.
Right, he's over at the snack shack being the quote whipping boy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, look, I think the healthy brain needs to have something to hate.
You gotta focus your hatred.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think partially this is what we see, like maybe in politics, which is fine. Now, see, I say, I hate them all.
Right.
I mean, you're much happier if you just don't choose a side and say, yeah, they're all,
Yeah.
Trump and Sessions and Pelosi and Schumer and
right.
if you're like that, then you're a healthy lifestyle.
Equal opportunity hate.
And Adolf Hitler, I really didn't like that guy either.
Yeah, Hitler.
It's kind of a shoo-in.
Right. Or just like random people that maybe you don't even really hate, but you say you do.
I don't.
That Phyllis Diller, she's
No, I never hated Phyllis Diller. She was America's queen. Oh my God. And Phyllis Diller, what are you crazy?
It's at the top of my head. I just threw it out.
Phyllis Diller.
Yeah.
She was America's queen.
Well, I could have
done. You remember when she'd show up to the roasts?
Oh, she was great.
Didn't she have like
cigarette holder?
Cigarette holder.
Yeah, she was cool. That's when roasts were roasts, right?
They were so good.
I mean, they're all half-tanked. Dean Martin is like 5 sheets to the wind.
Foster Brooks is
on the stage. You get Don Rickles. He gets up there and just lets it fly.
You know why I like it today? Because, and I wonder if someone younger than myself who didn't grow up with these sorts of things would see it the same way. And I think partly kind of the hipsters and kind of people see those things. I mean, Mad Men was a very popular TV show that was kind of set back in those dark old days of the 60s.
Dark old days.
Well, it was kind of,
I grew up in the 60s, and I got to tell you, it was dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, civil rights. Let's just, there's an example.
Yes.
But then space program,
68 alone will bum you out.
Yeah. Vietnam. People are like, oh, no, you remember those good old 60s? Yeah, sure. Turn the fire hose on the people trying to go to school. And Sure, yeah. Selma, Alabama? Sure. Yeah, those are the good old days. No, well, Jeff Sessions, but...
Jeff Beauregard. Yeah.
Maybe to him, those are the good old days, but not to the rest of us.
Right. He calls them antebellum days.
Yeah. But then there was a space program.
Sure.
That was the one thing that we were all like, wow, they're space.
Yeah.
Space people, men.
Yeah. And
they didn't wear jodhpurs, they wore space pants.
Space pants.
Anyway, so... I think, you can have, you can focus your hate. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's kind of like a Star... Oh, my gosh.
That's like Zen-like powers.
That's like a Star War.
Focus your hate.
I know.
I'm just feeling like I'm just hatred for everyone. No.
Okay. J.J. Abrams, look, I wear black already. Mm-hmm. You should cast me in the next Star Wars, The Last Jedi. No, The Last Jedi was this one. So it'll be it'll be like, what the next Star Wars is going to be?
Yeah.
The Very Last Jedi. So we had The Force Awakens.
The Very Last Jedi, yes.
We had The Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
And then this new one, controversial.
Yeah.
I liked it, though. I on record, I liked the new Star Wars movie, actually, quite a lot. Called The Last Jedi. And then this Star Wars 9 or 10 or whatever it is, it's 9, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Would be The Very Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And then they...
in parentheses, no, we really mean it.
No. Well, and then they have Rian Johnson, who directed this Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. And I guess they sold a new trilogy series, not going to be about... we're ending this Luke and Leia and all that stuff. I mean, this is the whole point. It comes to an end.
Right.
I mean, it's over, right? Mm-hmm. That saga is over. And so they're going to do some new trilogy. So I think that the next one there, episode 10, would be, no, The Very Last Jedi. I'm not kidding. Yeah. No, really, it is really, really The Last Jedi. And this whole Jedi thing has really gotten out of hand, hasn't it? That'll be...
Right, yeah.
We should have had graphics for that.
No, really, just long, Would that make you, if they cast you, would that make you Darth Normal?
Oh my gosh.
Instead of Doctor, it's Darth Normal.
I know.
What do you think?
Yeah, Darth.
I like it.
There's a Star Wars Day, so maybe we'll have to do like a Star Wars Day Curmudgeons, and I'll have to be I'll be Darth normal.
Yeah.
But I could see, I could wear this, talk show microphone, Padawan, you have to focus your hate. Who should I focus my hate on? The president? Matt Lauer? Jeff Sessions? I don't know. Hitler.
Late night infomercials. Yeah. Well, if
you're
gonna
someone alive,
if you're gonna be Darth normal, I've okay. What I'll do is I'm going to be like a offshoot of Chewbacca.
Oh yeah.
Except my outfit is I'm gonna have hair down here, except Chewbacca's gonna be all bald on top.
Oh yeah.
And like wearing a shirt that goes halfway down and shows his hairy belly sticking out.
Well, I think so.
Chew.
See, that's
I'll have to figure out a name. Chew something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stormy Chewbacca. I don't know.
Chewy Daniels.
Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember? Everyone did this. It's probably a Facebook ad. You see, people just use Facebook now. Oh, there you could focus your hate on Facebook. Focus your hate. See, it doesn't have to be a person. Let's say not a person. It's like focus your hate on social media. Something.
Yeah.
But they used to do this on the web. I think now they do it on Facebook apps and stuff, where you type. You people do this. I never do it. You type in something and something like the newest one this week. I can tell you what it is. You put your profile picture in, and then it does an app, and it comes back with a picture of art. Like, in other words, so you put your I'm surprised you haven't done this. You put your face, your profile face in, and then you tell the app, and the app goes out and finds a face out of famous historic artworks.
That kind of looks like you.
And kind of looks like you and matches it up. So that's like the new rage, all the rage this week. People are doing that. Now, folks, here's why Doc Normal doesn't do this. You're given the app facial recognition. So that goes in a database. See, like I'm the Black Mirror kind of.
There is that. Yeah.
So it's like, as fun as that is, and as much as I go, wow, this would be fun. I wonder what face, what weird face, and some of them are pretty. I mean, this is like artificial intelligence, right? It goes out and does. Who knows? It's probably, half of it is, it's probably a sweatshop somewhere in Asia where poor people who aren't even making minimum wage are like typing this in,
Yeah.
But no, it's supposed to be AI, and what happens is, it does the facial recognition, and then it tries to find facial recognition there, and that's very cool. It's fun, but facial recognition, that they're using it. They're using facial recognition.
Yeah.
Like there's cameras, like on the street. Like remember when they did the photo radar and everyone was upset about that, where it takes a picture of you. There you are, the car speeding.
Yeah.
They're putting facial recognition into those things.
In fact, if memory serves me right, which is always a hit and miss thing, but I believe they used some sort of facial recognition algorithm last year at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yes, as a matter of fact, you are correct. That was in the news. I guess we weren't doing the show then, but I had read some things. It was on the tech news, for the terrorism and the security whatnot and whatever. Where you pass by a camera and they do recognition. I mean, it's all Black Mirror, folks. It's all gonna be Black Mirror. So go ahead and just put your profile picture in and amuse yourself.
You're already in the Matrix. So.
Yeah, amuse yourself. Get that dopamine hit. Like all the articles I'm reading right now. The silly ones out of that fake news, MSM. Blah, blah, blah. I'm kidding. But the silly stuff.
Sure.
Is like they're talking about all these things about Facebook, right?
Yeah.
It's just as addictive as cigarettes and drugs, right? And everything, It's like
Facebook is crack.
Yeah. No. That's what they're saying. And there was a guy. I think this happened earlier in the year, end of year. There's that former Facebook exec that came out. We might have mentioned it.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we have psychological research. We know how the likes and stuff hit the dopamine, and so he was the one who kind of said it just outright. He worked for Facebook. He was like an executive at Facebook, but and we know that there is a certain like kind of a thing.
Sure.
And I notice people lately are taking time out from like Facebook and all that social media, and that's not so bad.
No, yeah. I'm actually I haven't been on Facebook that much.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my own thing.
So it's difficult. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've always asked myself this question: would I be on Facebook if I didn't do things in social media like podcasting, video stuff, and that sort of thing, like DJing with House of Sound?
Yeah.
When you do, because where are you going to advertise?
Right.
Your wares, what you're doing.
Or networking, right.
Yeah, or networking or whatever. You're going to do it on Facebook and Twitter, where the people are.
Yeah.
And you're going to network with the people there. And that's originally Twitter was originally like that. The early days of Twitter. The early days, little known fact, it was known as Twitter. There was a back in the early days of Twitter.
Yeah.
There was a competing network.
Okay.
Called Plurk.
Really?
Plurk. Of all names, it was pretty esoteric.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it was called Plurk.
Yeah.
Which, sounds like some sort of weird euphemism of two people hooking up in a Frank Zappa song.
Or I just stepped in a big pile of plurk.
Yeah.
Hey, you, go plurk yourself, all right? Oh, okay.
Dynamo Plurk. And anyway, so it's something straight out of a Zappa song.
If they were a alternative punk band, they would be the Circle Plurks.
The Plurks.
Yeah.
The Plurks.
Okay, we got copyright that.
Yeah, well, it probably already. So it was a social network. It was called Plurk.
Yeah.
The timeline went from right to left. It went from an opposite timeline thing. It was really kind of cool because it was really weird, but it didn't catch on. But it was just weird. And their mascot, beautiful, was a cartoon pig that had been sliced in half with its bone sticking out.
That's genius.
Oh yeah, I should actually look it up. It still exists, and I interestingly enough, I still have an account on it.
Could we resurrect that and make it a thing again?
Well, it still exists. It's like in China or something like that.
Oh.
They do not. Plurk is a free social networking and microblogging service that allows users to send updates through short message, like Twitter. Yeah. It had 360 text characters. It did have a longer, even right out of the chute. I remember it was longer than Twitter. Launched May 12th, 2008, which was, I think, about a year-ish after Twitter. Twitter, I think, launched in 2007.
Yeah, something like that.
I think I got on Twitter 6 or 8 months into their existence, I want to say.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. I think it was 2008. But, they're on there. I got to show you the
Work.
See, okay, so here's all the new stuff. They got a new, and it's, I think they're in China or Korea or something. They're Asian. So a lot of the Asian stuff. There it is.
We got to check out this logo.
Oh, yeah. You're going to love it. This was I'll just pull this up here. This was Plurk. So let's see if you can see it. Plurk, your life on the line.
Oh, man.
That's their old logo. They're not this anymore, but that's, kind of a slaughtered pig sort of a thing. No one knew what that was. I mean, it was just what is this?
Whoever created that has got to be a curmudgeon.
But I mean, there was stuff like that. There was Plurk. I can't remember the other ones, but that was definitely the weird one. And so I imagine Twitter and Plurk, had they merged, they could be Trotter, Twatter.
Twerk.
Oh, no, let's not.
Twerk. Yeah.
Sorry. We need a bleep button, don't we? We should actually have a bleep button.
I missed it.
Nah, you didn't want to.
Yeah. Okay.
It started with a T.
Oh.
And a W.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
social media is addictive.
Yeah.
As like cocaine and all that stuff. So you shouldn't be on it. So
yeah.
I think we, and that's the other thing. This is what I hate. Darth Normal. War on things.
Okay.
This is where you can focus your hate. The war on things, and it started with
the war on drugs.
You know it. Who was that?
Oh, that was, let's see, back then it was what, I think Nancy Reagan. Just say no.
First lady.
Well,
the war on drugs.
But it was kind of started Nixon, right? In 72,
yeah,
his sort of
the war on drugs.
The war on drugs.
I remember the war on drugs coming up with Nancy Reagan, the Reagan administration.
Yeah. But I remember something about Nixon, like in 72, talking about like the war on drugs or whatever. Meanwhile, CIA's got Air America going on.
Exactly. We could ask,
yeah.
Alexa, what's the war on drugs?
The War on Drugs is an American indie rock band from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, formed in 2005.
Alexa, thank you.
She threw us a curveball there.
Always, right? Always. Yeah. Right? I love Alexa. It's an indie rock band.
Okay. Alexa, who started the war on drugs?
War on Drugs originator is Richard Nixon.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Woo!
You got it. Jason, the war on drugs. Jason, now we're going to call you Jason War on Drugs Allen.
Why not? How did you get that name? It's complicated.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. I remember the war on drugs, very Reagan administration, Nancy Reagan, just say no. Maybe it was just say no that was the new new twist to it. Yeah, so I don't recall that being Nixon. I mean, I recall Nixon. There's something about plumbers and bad plumbing and water
gates
hotel.
of water.
Yes, I don't know. Like a little preoccupied. Secret bombings of Cambodia and Laos. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember his speech about war on drugs, but I think even at the time, contemporarily, it was pretty much scoffed at when he did it, and I think that's why it just kind of didn't catch on.
I have something for us.
Aha!
Just stay there.
It's a surprise.
I should just see. This is like it's like Mr. Green Jeans in the grab bag. Let's see here. Where is it? Damn it! It's right here, and I said,
there we go.
I have it. I have us a war on drugs.
Ooh!
You ready for this, Jason?
I'm ready.
This is relevant to our discussion. I'll have to, we'll zoom it in so you can all see it.
Excellent.
It is a postcard.
Excellent.
The postcard is titled, will you guess the postcard is titled, The President and the King.
Oh, yeah, the famous meeting between Nixon and Elvis.
This is the picture of the war on drugs. Can you all see that?
Well,
that is President Richard Milhouse Nixon.
In his big belt buckle days with
and
Elvis.
That is Elvis Aaron. I know his middle name.
Right.
Presley.
There he is.
The king of rock and roll with the king of the world.
Well, look at Nixon. He looks happy to see him. Elvis, though, he's like, that says, what the heck am I doing here?
Oh, there's a big, long story behind this. Do you know what this picture is?
No.
You do not?
No, I can't remember.
This is a photograph.
Yeah.
Of the President of the United States. Well, I actually have to look up if it actually happened, but the idea behind it, I believe it actually did happen, deputizing Elvis Presley as the czar of the war on drugs.
Oh.
True story, Jason. This is actually really, I mean, and that's the origin of the. Now, we should actually. Sorry, I'm readjusting here. We should actually research, because I can't remember if they actually did it, but I think they did it.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was Elvis, in a drug-fueled fit, decided that he wanted to meet President Nixon in the Oval Office because he was concerned, being the king of rock and roll,
Sure.
was concerned for the youth of America. Because what was the youth of America doing back then?
Oh, yeah.
Listening to the Beatles.
And sniffing that glue. Yeah.
And other things. Taking the drugs.
Mary Jane.
And this was not Mary Jane. And
No.
this was not...
Elvis.
Elvis.
I love it.
No.
Deputy Elvis.
Deputized. He wanted to be deputy. You didn't know this? You
I
never know this
kind of
story?
yeah. It's kind of back there in the old.
And this is actually, again, this is actually the photograph
That's
from
beautiful.
that meeting. I
Deputy Elvis.
I saw this postcard. It's like one of my most... Okay, we talk about hate, also focus. You can focus about your favorite things. Brian Eno has a great thing about this.
Okay.
Actually, forget the hate thing. Go up and look up Brian Eno and about... He does this whole thing about, Brian Eno.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Musician, producer, extraordinary artist, I saw this thing about him once, like a documentary where he talks about focus and he like puts stuff on the wall, like here's things I like, he'll find a picture or whatever and put it up and things I like, things if I focus on them I like, and then I think he's got another side where it's like things I don't like so much, so I don't want to be here, I want to be here, it's really cool. It's very like ooh, Brian, it's very cool, and so this is a thing I like. And it goes back to what we were kind of earlier talking about, is about like the Sammy Davis Jr., the Dean Martin roasts and all that stuff. These are like tropes, really. These are like living, like Nixon and Elvis.
Yeah.
Would that be the right word? A trope, maybe? Alexa, what is a trope?
The term trope means language used in a figurative or non-literal sense.
Yeah, maybe not. What am I thinking of? It's, kind of like a characterization. But these are real people. But in media, they're like they're. It's like watching a cartoon. It's like watching a Bugs Bunny or something like that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Also, just the combination of in the same room as Nixon and Elvis, it's I guess it's just the word I'd use is absurd. I mean, someone as uptight as old Tricky Dick standing next to the king of rock and roll, and especially Elvis's face where he looks a little awkward.
Reading from the SmithsonianMagazine.com, not fake news.
Yes,
I would say they're Smithsonian Magazine.
No, they're real.
Is a reputable outfit. The Smithsonian being our national museum. Wonderful place to visit. Go there. I mean, it's worth going to Washington. I mean, it's like you could go see the Capitol, White House, or Washington Monument, but boy, the Smithsonian is going to blow your doors off, right? Yeah. They got stuff there.
Lots of stuff.
When Elvis met Nixon, an Oval Office photograph captured the bizarre encounter between the king of rock and roll and the president. First, they start out. When was this written? 2010, December 2010, by Peter Carlson, Smithsonian Magazine. The image looks like a computer-generated joke. It's not a computer-generated joke, folks. The picture is genuine, an official White House photograph of a bizarre encounter that occurred in this universe. How do they write this now? Now we write this stuff like, it's not the parallel, it's not the Matrix, this really happened. It's like, great. This is great as kids. Imagine had we been growing up. I mean, this was happening in our life, and we were just like, well, this is life. This is, Nixon meets Elvis, Watergate, whatever.
Yeah.
E. Howard Hunt, right? But kids today have to like deal with adults and people going, parallel universe, I don't know, did we cross over the Matrix? It's like, that's got to be a little psychologically damaging to the little kids.
Right.
Oh man, that could be like a whole, like if Captain Kangaroo and Mr. Green Jeans were parallel universe show.
Ooh. Right. Oh.
Bizarro.
What
Bizarro.
We're trying to raise like little Colonel Kurtzes. They're like, that's it is Bizarro World.
Colonel Kurtz's happy hour.
Right. Hey kids.
No, it was. And it starts out with Dennis Hopper going, kids, you just don't understand what's happening here. I know this looks bad, but no, you don't understand, man.
Right.
He's beyond. He's thinking. It's the kids are like, what is this?
And who's going to introduce him? Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids. It's Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
It's Colonel Coitz. Yeah.
The horror.
I like that.
Water.
Right, yeah. Okay, Martin Sheen, though, it's just, apocalypse.
Kids, let's go visit the cow. No, let's not visit a cow.
They could call the show like Apocalypse in cartoons now.
Apocalypse.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to Apocalypse Kinder.
That clown looks too much like Gacy. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Whoa.
I know.
Getting dark. Getting dark. Oval Office, December 21st, 1970.
70? Earlier than I thought. I pegged that around 72, but...
Well, Nixon
70.
was deep. By 72, I think they were a little preoccupied.
Yeah.
With stuff. Yeah,
True.
1970. Because, that would have been, what was it? 72 was the election.
Yeah.
So they were busy with the election in 72.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe it was 72, like an image thing to appeal to.
Like an election thing.
Yeah, hey kids, like it's Elvis. Elvis likes Nixon.
Yeah.
So you got to vote for him, kids,
Yeah, so it was like, am I right here? 68 and 72.
Yeah.
I recall it was 72 was the election, because that was the whole water. And then by 73, and then he resigned in...
Early 74, yeah.
74, yeah, that's what I thought. He resigned. It wasn't 73. The
No.
whole Watergate hearings were going on in 73.
Took about a year. Yeah.
Nixon, about a year. Nixon resigned. Early 74, Gerald Ford became president.
Till 76, then comes Carter, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, exactly. So December 21st, 1970... I'm just going to read this here because this tells the bizarre story. It's wonderful. Story begins in Memphis a few days earlier, when Elvis's father Vernon and wife Priscilla complained that he'd spent too much on Christmas presents, more than $100,000 for 32 handguns and 10 Mercedes Benzes. Oh, how I wish I could have been on Elvis's Christmas list, right?
You're right here, little Bobby. Have a handgun and a Mercedes Benz. That's the best present ever.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It's a handgun, kid.
Here we go.
You can put it in the glove compartment of your new Mercedes Benz. Can you imagine Oprah?
Yeah. If you look under everyone,
you have a Mercedes, and you have a handgun, and you have a handgun.
Everyone, if you look under your seats in the crowd, there's going to be keys to Mercedes.
More than $100,000 for 32 handguns.
That's great.
And 10 Mercedes Benzes. Now, see the Mercedes. I question. Well, I don't question. This is the Smithsonian. I'm guessing they well researched this.
Yeah.
Being a museum, but I always thought Elvis was a Cadillac man. Not a Mercedes-Benz man. Not that Mercedes-Benzes are very nice German vehicles, but you kind of imagine. You always hear of Elvis buying people Cadillacs, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess in Christmas 1970, he was on a Mercedes-Benz kick. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't like that new Cadillac.
That's right. Come here, kid.
Yeah. So he drove to the airport and caught the next available flight, which is really weird because, he had his private plane.
Oh, yeah.
With the T. In fact, I posted this a few weeks ago. TCB on the tail of Elvis's plane. Mm-hmm. Taking care of business with a lightning bolt.
That's right.
This cheesy little logo, TCB lightning bolt. That was Elvis's taking care of business.
Because when Elvis did something, he just didn't show up and put in the work. I mean, he was taking care of business, man. When he showed you had that big old belt buckle, and this wasn't in his 68 leather suit days. Oh no! By 70, I mean he had the huge jumpsuit with the big old belt buckle.
Oh yeah, baby.
50 cheeseburgers in a bag, and he was ready to roll.
The picture, he's wearing a black jumpsuit, big old buckle. I should just
isn't that great?
Let you look at that.
Great.
So he got on a flight, just on a commercial flight. He jumps. Elvis just storms off out of Memphis, gets on the next commercial flight.
Oh yeah.
Just Elvis. Like, okay, Elvis is a big name.
Oh, back then he was the
Big
king of rock,
time.
man. Yeah.
He's like the king. He's king of rock and roll. Okay, so you're just there in the Memphis, whatever airport, wherever, and sitting there, and then you're getting on your Eastern Air flight or whatever it is, and here's Elvis Presley,
right,
getting on your flight. That'd be like, I don't know. What'd that be like? What'd it be like
today? Oh my gosh!
I can't even think. I mean,
who's as big as Elvis was? In the 70s?
It's like Prince, but Prince is dead. I mean, Prince died last year. I mean, something like that. I don't know. I can't think. Justin Timberlake. I don't know.
No, he's not. He's not Elvis level.
Kanye.
No, not Elvis level.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know if today we have anyone.
No, I don't think so.
I
don't think so. And I think that's the point of going back to these times where, you had 3 channels, you had Elvis Presley, you had Dean Martin roast. You had
there is one guy.
Oh, who?
There is one guy.
Who?
I think if you were, let's say, you're in first class, you're hanging out, and then someone you notice someone comes by you and sits down in a chair on the other side of the aisle. You look over, and it's Elton John. That may do it.
Yeah.
Elton, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could
Maybe
see Elton John.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney. Maybe Paul McCartney.
Yeah. You know what?
Beatles.
Even though Elvis was older, he still wasn't. I mean, I think he's like pushing middle age this time period, right?
Early 40s.
Yeah, early 40s. I mean, Sir Elton, and Sir Paul, because I believe they both died. Yeah. Are they both a little old? Like Elton John's pretty old, so I mean, it's kind of like more, I would think someone younger.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, you know what? There's no one. I don't think that there's anyone that would. You know what it would be? It would be like, you know what it'd be like? It would be like if you were getting on a plane with your kids, and there's families with kids, and one of those crazy, terrible YouTubers came on or whatever, and all the kids went, "Oh my God, it's Logan Paul!"
What about someone like Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift,
pretty big.
Yeah, you know what? I think Taylor. That's a good example. Yeah. Beyonce. Maybe it's not even a guy's. Maybe it would be like if you got on a plane. I would freak out if Taylor Swift or Beyonce were on my plane.
Right.
That's Beyonce.
Right.
I'd be like, no, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be like on Instagram, you'd be tweeting, you'd be like, I'm on a flight with Beyonce.
Back in the day, right? Like Madonna.
Yeah.
Back, Yeah, oh yeah. Taylor Swift, I mean.
Yeah. You'd be like, hey, guess what I'm on a plane? Hey, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm a weird guy, so I mean, if Taylor,
yes, you are.
If Taylor sits down,
and a little creepy too. They'd actually escort you off the flight. It would be like, Taylor Swift's on this flight, and Jason, we've bumped you to the next flight.
Don't sit her next to him. Don't sit her next to him. Oh, hey, Taylor, come here, Taylor. Hey, these songs, right? Tell me about what guys you're doing. Come on, what's going on?
Taylor, have I told you that I...
With just a hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I sit in the aisle seat? Because I may have to excuse myself. I get flatulent when I fly.
That's right. Hope you don't mind there.
Boy.
Taylor.
Anyway, so he... Let's see. So what is it? Where were we at? So he goes... So he drives to the airport, gets the next available flight out of the blue, like Elvis Presley. Again, this is all a true story, which happened to be bound for Washington. He then checks into a hotel, gets bored, and decides to fly to Los Angeles. Elvis is on a Christmas bender here. I mean, he's like a pre. Well, this was December 20, so he's on a and then Jerry Schilling said Elvis called and asked me to pick him up at the airport. I think Schilling was a musician or a manager.
Where's the Colonel during all this?
Oh, no. This was the thing. This was the thing. This whole event with Nixon and this whole thing.
Yeah.
Elvis went AWOL for a while.
Really?
And we've had. I think
that could be its own movie. Elvis Goes Rogue.
Actually, Jason, this is a movie. I'll tell you about that in a minute. There is, and it's fantastic. In fact, I should share it with you.
Okay.
Might be up on YouTube or something.
Yeah, check this out.
Anyway, No, he goes rogue. Like he goes because Elvis was like the president. He's got bodyguards. He's got assistants.
Yeah.
He's got yes men.
An entourage.
He's got an entourage, and you always hear the thing where the king, not only the king of rock and roll, but the king in general, wants to break away from their entourage. Get out with the people. Just get me out of here. I'm done with all you people. Y'all stressing me out. Yeah. This was Elvis's moment. Oh. I know, isn't it? See, the story is beautiful.
That is.
Okay, so he gets picked up by this Jerry Schilling guy. Says he's a longtime aide at Los Angeles airport at 3 a.m. to chauffeur the king to his mansion there. So he had a place in L.A. to stay. Elvis was traveling with some guns.
In the old days where you could actually bring guns.
Yeah, I know, right?
Elvis is packing heat.
Elvis is like on Eastern Air or whatever it was, probably at the time, with like on a 707 with like sorry, my gun spilled out.
Right, a whole server. Did they have the TSA back then?
No, they did not. They didn't have anything.
Right, because I'm imagining two people in like their their uniforms, whatever. They're inspecting stuff like oh my God, he's got guns. Wait, Bob. That's Elvis.
This Jason, this isn't even. This is 1970, so this is like before D.B. Cooper.
Yeah,
right?
Cooper may have been 70. He may have been 72.
Yeah,
73.
I mean, this is before there were some very famous and international terrorist, air hijacks. That's what they called them.
You're right.
But I think that this was the end of that era where that hadn't actually been in the lexicon. Right. The hijack, the air hijacking.
Entebbe.
Munich?
Wasn't it Munich?
I was thinking Munich, but but that was
Olympic, right?
Yeah, but that was I don't know that
may have been 72.
Did they commandeer a plane? Maybe I can't remember. But in Entebbe, D.B. Cooper, there were other ones. There were other ones that happened too. Yeah. And so that was kind of the first. Like this was when in the early 70s when they started going air terrorism,
right,
and stuff like that. The first of it. But yeah, Elvis is just getting on the plane. With his locked and loaded, and so he goes to Los Angeles. I'm going to try to paraphrase this here. But hey, we've got we've got a while. He was traveling with some guns. You know what, folks? This is when we go deep. One popular was the whole E. Howard Hunt thing. Okay, so roll with it. This is what you get. We actually talk about stuff.
Right.
Not that we plan to talk about stuff, but we do. So he's traveling with the guns and badges. He's got a collection of police badges. Like,
that's great.
Well, Elvis was a celebrity, so he'd go into towns, play. Elvis Presley, big stadium. This was him doing the big stadium thing. Remember, he was like a few years before this. It was like Elvis live via satellite. Mm-hmm. Like that was like one of the first. From Hawaii, right? That was one of the first satellite live broadcasts. Yeah, via satellite in the late '60s. Elvis, I want to say 68, 60, something like that. So this guy's huge. So he'd go into a town with his guns and stuff. Of course, there would be police forces there along with the bodyguards to make sure nothing happened. Crowd control.
True.
So these guys, he'd go to the sheriff and go, "Hey, I want to. Will you deputize me in Toledo, Ohio? Make me a Toledo, Ohio sheriff." What are they gonna do? Sheriff's like, "Sheriff, Toledo, Ohio." I'm not saying that this happened in Toledo, but this did happen.
Dubuque,
Toledo, wherever he played, right? Tacoma,
Joplin,
Tacoma.
Why not?
The sheriff would come in.
Walla.
The sheriff would come in. I think Walla Walla and maybe those were a little bit too small of town. I mean, he was playing big arenas. But anyway, they would
Salt Lake City then.
Salt Lake City. Yeah. They'd come in. Maybe the sheriff would go, "Yeah, sure, I'll bring you a badge. I'll make you a deputy and photo op. This will look good on the desk." On the desk back in my sheriff's desk, me and Elvis, personal friend of mine, right? So he had this collection of badges, from police forces.
That's awesome.
Which, when I think of legality in 2018, I think of bringing guns and ammo loaded on an airplane. not so much. Carrying around a bunch of authentic police and sheriff badges, which I believe falls under the federal statute of impersonating a police officer. Not so much. So I mean, already Elvis is he's the king. He's here. We're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
Elvis.
Right.
Is literally up there.
I mean, it goes from God to Ronald McDonald to Elvis. Okay, and so Elvis is like 2A almost. So him and Ronald are kind of neck and neck.
I put Captain Crunches in there somewhere.
Captain
Crunch. Captain Kangaroo. I'm sorry.
Captain Kangaroo at that
Captain
time,
Crunch is
3 or 4, not as big as Elvis, but Captain Kangaroo did have an entourage.
Yeah,
Mr. Green Jeans and all that. Sure. But Elvis,
anyway,
Deputy Elvis, I love that.
So he's got badges, he's guns, and then he goes and he decides that what he really wants to do was a badge from the Federal Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs in Washington. He wants a Fed. Now, see, I think here's the thing that I am at, and again, I'm thinking about this.
Yeah,
like I said, you could go into a locality as Elvis. The local sheriff, who's they're providing, crowd control and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, photo op, gonna look good on my sheriff's desk. Here, you see my picture with me and Elvis?
Oh yeah.
Shaking hands, just like the Nixon and Elvis shaking hands, right?
Yeah.
Here's your badge, locality. I can deputize. A sheriff can deputize anybody.
Yeah.
But the feds, not so much.
Right.
The feds don't just give those things out like candy.
Right, yeah.
I mean, maybe Ephraim Zimbalist, but that's about it,
But Elvis was huge. I mean, he could have gone in any town and asked for anything. And if he showed up and, people, they're handing him badges. I mean, I'm sure some mayor's like, here, take my wife, or here, we'll hostage out one of our kids. Elvis, come, he could have asked for anything.
I've got a quote. You're going to love this. I'm going to hold the camera on you.
Okay.
This is quote.
I'm going to stare right in the camera. So
the narc badge represented some kind of ultimate power to him. Priscilla Presley wrote in her memoir, Elvis and Me, quote, with the federal narcotics badge, he believed he could legally enter any country both wearing guns and carrying any drugs he wished.
That is beautiful.
Is that just like...
That is beautiful.
Is that just like... Aren't you just like, oh...
He just comes in kicking down doors, with his guns ablaze and that. My God, that's Elvis, as you're diving for cover. It's like, oh...
We could have had the solution to Afghanistan here, folks.
How did we lose the Vietnam War with Elvis?
I know, right?
He could have gone in there,
in, kicking down some doors,
right?
Shooting the place up, and then coming out, and then setting up for a song, because that's what he do, in the movies. He's like,
he is a national treasure. Why didn't we set him loose during the Cuban Missile Crisis? They're staring it down. Everything's on quarantine. What are we gonna do? The world's coming in to win. Don't worry, Bobby. We're sending in Elvis.
Elvis is coming.
He's bad. He's kicking in doors. That's right. What? You can do what you want, but don't step on my blue suede shoes.
True story, and I mentioned this to you. True story.
Yeah.
As has been reported in true outlets, Quentin Tarantino is working on a script for a new Star Trek show.
Wow.
No, not show, movie.
Wow.
Because they made 3 movies with J.J. Abrams. Yeah. He's pitched, and he's working with some writers on a Star Trek. And he has said, Quentin Tarantino has said he wants to direct a Star Trek movie. He's apparently a Star Trek fan. Now, I have to ask,
interesting,
why is he over here working on a Star Trek when Quentin Tarantino's never made an Elvis movie? My God, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine a Quentin Tarantino? Elvis is back. Ding, 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 ding,
Elvis is walking that slow walk down an alley. Yeah. Elvis has got his cape on and stuff.
The guns.
Right.
Elvis is gonna solve Vietnam. Elvis in Saigon.
Right. He's taking out Saigon. Not a problem. Cold War. It's over.
Karate chop.
Right.
I mean, that was perfect for Quentin Tarantino.
That's right. Oh my
gosh. Legend. Ding 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 ding.
In a world.
Exactly.
It's like, Elvis is back, and this time he's mad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Listen, Buster. And then he has those taglines, too, the cool taglines. Listen, Buster, you're looking like a hound dog.
My God!
You know,
yes.
huh? You know. Or,
now here's the thing: we have
you scuffed my blue suede shoes. It's you're going down. You know,
and that's what he tells Ho Chi Minh.
Right? You're going down. And next thing you know,
I'm gonna put the karate chop on you.
That's right.
Chi Minh.
That's right.
Jeez.
And they're like, it's time to party. It's a clam bake. You know, next thing you know, Elvis is taking them out.
No. They're yeah, it's exactly right. They're on the beach. You know, after they've done the Martin Sheen kind of commando thing, and then it's like, ding, 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 ding. In Vietnam, we kicked some butt in Vietnam. Come on, everybody, sing with me.
Everybody. I love that. I was on the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
On the Ho Chi Minh Trail, on the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Elvis ain't gonna fail.
Elvis ain't.
You know. Bringing napalm. Yeah, I'm the bomb. It's great. And they got dancers, go-go dancers in the background,
yes,
you know, and he's doing his thing.
Like the Hawaiian dancers, because, you know, it doesn't matter. It's somewhere in Southeast Asia, the island somewhere. So Hawaiian dancers, whatever. We don't care. We're white people from Hollywood. We don't know the difference.
What was that thing from Good Morning Vietnam? Viva Da Nang.
Oh,
Viva Da Nang.
Gosh, it's been so long since I've seen that movie, and actually, you mentioned that movie, Good Morning Vietnam, Robin Williams.
Yeah, Adrian Cronauer.
The direct, is it Mike Nichols? Was that a Mike Nichols film? I want to say. I may be wrong, but anyway,
I don't know. That's interesting.
But
young Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, who's always good.
Bruno Kirby. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, who's one of my favorite actors?
Yeah.
Bruno Kirby.
Yeah.
Godfather Part 2.
Yes.
Godfather Part 2, folks.
Yeah.
You forget. But anyway, you mentioned that movie, and I'm like immediately like, oh my God, there's a movie I haven't seen in years, and I could totally go watch it right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched a lot of Robin Williams since he died, and I miss him.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a big fan. But anyway.
Yeah.
Back to Elvis. Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's like this show is like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates, right?
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
You never know what you're gonna get.
I love
Today
that.
we get Elvis.
Right. Is there
so
ninjas on the beach? Can we have ninjas?
dancing ninjas? Are you crazy?
Dancing
Actually,
ninjas.
the band would be ninjas.
Ooh, a ninja band.
The Jordanaires as ninjas.
Right, the drummer. He don't have drumsticks. He's got nunchucks,
Yeah.
and he's drumming.
Alex Acuna.
Yeah, why not?
That
And then we need like cool cameo appearances, right? You know, like Bob Hope walks through with a 9-iron and his Hawaiian shirt. You know, like, hey, where's the way to the USO show?
Well, there'd be a cameo. There would be a cameo in the Elvis Vietnam movie. John Wayne, Colonel of the Green Berets. He'd walk in. He's like, I'm John Wayne. I'm Elvis Presley.
That's right. He's like,
he would deputize Presley as a Green Beret.
He would. He totally would. He'd give him a badge and everything, like, you know, it's the Duke and the King. They could be like Tango and Cash. They're like showing up in Vietnam, dude. Everything is screw Ho Chi Minh. He's going down after this.
I have a weird question, and I want to table it.
Okay.
And I'll table it because if you people like, you know, I throw these out there. Maybe we're not going to answer this. Was George Takei in the Green Berets?
Yep.
Well, oh my God, you did answer that.
He played.
I wanted to say he was, right?
Yeah, he played one of the South Vietnamese commandos. He would be the guys. Okay. He'd be the guy on point going out on patrols. George Takei.
Okay,
that's interesting story. Buddy of mine now lives in Michigan. His father, back in the day in the '60s, was a Navy SEAL, right? So they're sitting there, and this guy comes up and he says, "Hey, do you guys want to be extras in this movie? We need extras. Can you do it?" And they're like, yeah, okay, cool. So him and a bunch of his Navy SEAL buddies, they're actually...
Now, are they in...
They're in Green Berets. They're playing the part of some of the VC when they attack at the end, right?
Oh, God.
Right. And so I remember going over to this guy's house when we were just hanging out, and there's a picture on his wall of his dad in the get-up standing next to John Wayne, and they're both smiling.
See?
And it's like, that's the best, you know?
That could have been Elvis.
That could have been Elvis.
He could have deputized as a Navy SEAL. It's like, here. See, this is what people do.
Yep.
This is why Elvis.
Yeah.
I imagine Elvis. He's just like got a paper sack full of rattling around of loaded revolvers and badges. Like, I got my guns and my badges.
He's got a duffel bag and it's full of heat. You know, he's like, no problem. Like, what do you got, Elvis? Is that a sandwich? No, it's 45.
And badges.
And badges.
Yeah.
Here, you're poultry inspector for Arkansas. Let's go.
And he doesn't have money.
No. Well, Elvis don't
Think
need
about
money.
it. Well, nobody, someone else handles that.
Yeah.
So he's walking around with a bag full of revolvers, badges from all kinds of municipalities, and no cash.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't need. Elvis is one of the guys. He don't need cash, right? Elvis goes anywhere like, hey, I'd like a cheeseburger. Like, oh, Elvis, here, have this cheeseburger. Here
So
you go.
I got to finish the story. I mean,
Okay.
we're call the affiliates. We'll be doing 4 hours on Elvis Presley.
Overtime.
Yeah, this is why we do a 2-hour show. We got enough time. So the narc badge. So he wanted this federal narcotics badge.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be a federal narc. Mm-hmm. Elvis Presley wanted to be a federal narc.
That's beautiful.
A man who died as a result
Too much drugs.
of too much prescription drugs.
But you see, he didn't look at it that way. He looked at it. He
that's
was
what we're
undercover. I'm going undercover.
He
How
wasn't
better
smoking
going?
those funny cigarettes.
That's right.
Those long hair hippies from the Beatles. And now I sound like
He sound like Ed Sullivan.
no, I sound like no.
Yeah, those mop
I was
tops.
going into a little well, I can't even think. Anyway, so okay, let's
Let us return.
yes, okay. I just took an Elvis Percocet moment or whatever it was.
Right.
I don't even know what. There was a lot of stuff.
Oh, he
It
was
was a
probably
big-
taking horse tranquilizers.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. There was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
like back pain and stuff, and jelly donuts.
Right. Wash it down with a dozen of jelly donuts.
I mean,
yeah.
here's the thing: we're talking about. To this day, I like Elvis.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I do, and it's just weird, and it's just weird. This thing this weirdness, this white America thing that he represented. Now, in his early days, I tell you, musically, if you go back to the early days of rock and roll, you have Sun Records down there. Sun Records, Sam, what was his name? Anyway,
Yeah,
Sun
I know
Records.
yeah.
You have Elvis Presley. You have actually, arguably, really the holy ghost of these guys, Carl Perkins.
Carl Perkins. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yep.
And then you have Johnny Cash.
Johnny
right?
Cash.
I mean, these are like this is like the birthplace of rock and roll. White adaptation of rock and roll.
Right.
This is what brought rock and roll music that was really started by black people to the white kids in the audience.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
So-
there was really cool stories about Elvis as a teenager, and where did he go to listen to the really cool music? He went to African American churches.
Yeah.
You know,
and
the
then-
down south Baptists
right.
where they're singing, and he's literally the only white guy in the crowd, but he dug it, and he was soaking it all into his bones.
And
you know?
there is an issue that has come up not just recently, but for many years about the appropriation of that music. More so that those artists made big careers and made a lot of money because they were white.
Yeah.
And that's not to denigrate because they
Little
were
Richard.
very, very, very good. But yes,
Yeah.
Little
Richard's
Richard
been saying that for
Little
50
Richard
years,
was one
yeah.
of the first to point that out, and he was right.
Sure he was. Yeah.
Absolutely right. But and luckily through like the 60s and stuff, as the roots of rock and roll were discovered, especially by those British guys, like the Stones, and stuff that the kids, the white teenage kids, started exploring the blues and the stuff that they used to actually call race records. And they weren't like, it was segregated. It was like you're a white person, you listen to Perry Como. You do not listen to, Little Richard or something like that. No.
They would take the really risque tunes on purpose, right?
Yeah.
And they would reissue them with Pat Boone.
Yeah.
Because Pat's safe. I mean, there is nothing more more of a serious offense against God and nature than Pat Boone singing Tutti Frutti.
So So I mean, so my love for those early artists, like those early Sun artists, include Elvis Presley, and they were talented, and they did take this music, and they also because they put country in there, and you know, the R&B and the blues and the country, and they kind of mashed it all up and said music, and this is always a good thing in art. But that's not to not recognize that there were a lot of black artists that got ripped off.
Oh, geez.
And you know, we can only go back and listen and look, and luckily they were, you know, like the '60s started recognizing them, and artists recognized them. So anyway, but I do like Elvis. I do like Elvis, and I love the early stuff. I love the Sun stuff. Like anything that comes out of the Sun Studios. I mean, this is like Paisley Park. You know, it's like Electric Ladyland, like Jimi Hendrix experimenting with the 4-track back in the late '60s, or Abbey Road, for the
Muscle Shoals,
Alabama.
Yeah,
this is like that. It's like that, you know, where you have these studios and these incredible producers and stuff that just create this new sound, you know, and Sun was definitely front and center of those kind of things, and you have these other examples that we just mentioned.
Right.
So I love that, and I love what it became as a big Vegas spectacle, because also, no matter what you would say about Elvis Presley and his life and his caricature of himself, he was an entertainer. Yeah. He knew it, and he delivered entertainment.
Yep.
Like, people would go to those shows and be entertained. Like you said, you know, like Taylor Swift or Beyonce or something. You know, a good entertainer at that level, you want to show up and be entertained. You're paying the money. It's like, entertain me. Make this moment magical in my terrible little life of of solitude and horribleness.
Take me out of my drudgery,
Give
please.
Me 2 hours of CC Rider and Hound Dog and Love Me Tender. And
when he sang Love Me Tender, he was singing just to me.
Exactly. You know? So I appreciate Elvis for that, for being that larger than life entertainer and delivering. Yeah. And then we're talking about like Vietnam and stuff like that in a movie. And then he made these movies. Yeah. That were mildly entertaining. Some are really awful, but some are
Clam Bake. Yeah. Viva Las Vegas.
Speedway.
I mean, we got to win this race.
Yeah. You know, and it's all song and dance. So you know, so, and Elvis is in his, you know, this is like 1970, so this is 7 years before his death. Yeah. Right? 7 years before his death. So kind of that whole 70 stretch. Right. I think he kind of peaks at about 74 and then...
Kind of. Yeah, you know, I mean, it all started with his comeback in 68. Yeah. And then by 70, he's firmly into starting his jumpsuit and buckle days.
3 or 4 years after, like, kind of starting with the Watergate there, and the 73, 74 was really kind of as everything caught up.
Kind of, yeah.
With Elvis. So he wants to, so back to this. He wants to go get deputized with his, and he wants to throw that badge in with his duffel bag full of badges. And he probably would wear this one proudly, though, because this is the feds.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big kahuna, right?
It's a big league, man.
So after one day in Los Angeles, he and Schilling fly back to Washington, D.C., okay? To the capital, from L.A. back to Washington, D.C. And nobody knows why. Schilling apparently didn't know why, but he thought nothing. So on the red eye to Washington, D.C. from Los Angeles, Elvis writes a handwritten letter to President Nixon.
Nice.
This is all like now. This is from the accounts of people who were with Elvis, from Schilling and Priscilla Presley, his wife at the time. Yeah. But these are accounts. So, quote, "Sir, I can and will be of any service that I can to help the country out. I would love to meet you. I will be here for as long as it takes to get the credentials of a federal agent."
He is a rock and roll Superman. That is great.
Yeah.
The king, he's ready to assist, man. I'm ready.
He's stepping in. Like you said, where was this? We needed him for Vietnam. Now he had already done his service in Europe, but we needed to put him in. Get John Wayne to give him a green beret and get in there, Elvis.
It should, because in Simon and Garfunkel, it shouldn't have been "Where are you, Joe DiMaggio?" It should have been "Where are you, Elvis Presley?" Well, he's on the set making movie and kicking butt. He's got a duffel bag full of heat and badges and cheeseburgers. He's ready to go, man. He's ready to roll.
So he's hanging out at the Washington Hotel.
Okay.
Waiting.
He's on standby.
Well, he's written this letter on the plane to the President of the United States.
That's great.
So they took the limo. So they landed. They took the. There is. I will say this on this account. There's some time differential. All of these things happen, but there's some holes in the story that people aren't sure about, just because this thing just unfolded.
Yeah.
Elvis,
I love it.
By the time anyone caught wind of what was going on, events had already unfolded.
Yeah.
So
it's usually how benders work.
Exactly. So after they landed, he drops off his letter at the entrance. So they drive over in his limo to the White House and drops the letter at the gate around 6:30 a.m.
Can you imagine Officer Jenkins is at the gate in the White House?
Yeah.
He's just, he's maybe got his thermos of coffee. He's like, what's going on? Suddenly the
Secret Service security guard level 3. They'd be uniformed, I would think.
Right.
Because the plainclothes guys are more like with the man.
Oh, sure. He has the earpiece on.
Yeah, no, this would be like Jenkins would just be like, with the Capitol Police, kind of the secret. Because there are, people don't know. No, but there are uniformed Secret Service.
Oh, sure.
Like the gatekeepers and stuff like that. So, this guy's,
those
with badges.
Yeah, that was in Jenkins' early years. So, he's sitting there. He's, maybe got his thermos of coffee.
Yeah.
It's an average Wednesday.
Really nice hat with a badge that says Secret Service.
Secret Service. And an old name tag that says Jenkins on it.
Yeah.
And then here comes the Cadillac, or I don't know what he's riding, Lincoln maybe. And
it's pulling
in there.
I just got to stop you.
Okay.
He can have one picture. There's like a picture. There's like a picture of his wife.
Oh, I'm sure.
And a picture of James West.
He's gotta. Yeah.
From the Wild Wild West.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's there.
So,
and so he comes rolling up, and this is the cool part, right? Exactly. You're like, who is this? I wonder who this is.
Well, window rolls down, right? You always got to see
it's the cool electric windows back in the city, right?
You bet.
So sitting there, and it's like this mirrored sort of window, and so he starts descending.
Exactly.
And you see the pompadour, like, oh my God, who is that? Oh my gosh, there's the mountain chops.
This Vegas sunglasses.
And it's Elvis, right? And Jenkins at this point, he's like, oh my God, it's Elvis. Elvis, he maybe tips his glasses a little bit forward. He looks at him and says, "Hey, okay, come here." And then Jenkins, yes, King, may I help you? Hey, got a note here. I need you to hotwire this to Nixon. Can you do that for me? Yeah, I can do that. No, it's important. Will you do it? Yeah, do it. Here, have a gun. And then it's like, then when it goes back up.
Exactly. That's exactly how it happened.
It is. It is.
Or probably pretty close. You're probably not
It's in the neighborhood.
Because
maybe give him a cheeseburger instead of a gun.
No one in this country and half of the world.
Yeah.
You'd have to really be out somewhere, in the world, doesn't know who the hell Elvis is.
No.
When Elvis walks up to your like guard stand outside the White House, you're going to know that's Elvis Presley.
Yeah, there's Amazon rainforest pygmies that have never seen humanity. They roll in there, right? Yeah. And they're in the huts and everything. They come out, Elvis, and then they know who Elvis is. Of course they do.
Thank you.
Aliens know who Elvis is.
Thank you for your social commentary, Fitzcarraldo.
I'm just saying that everybody knows who Elvis is.
So I just imagine that. I just imagine that before the thing rolls up.
Yeah.
As he's taking the letter, he's like, "That's a nice badge. I like that badge. It's Secret Service,
Right.
Looking with longingly, I don't have a Secret Service badge.
Who knows? Jenkins may have given him the badge.
No, they can't. They can't do that. You lose your shield. Not the feds. Like I said, not the feds. This isn't like, like you said.
Could they give him
this
like a
isn't
plastic
like Toledo,
one?
Ohio sheriff. It's like, sure, you're deputized to have this. No. This is the feds now.
Okay. Could they give him like a plastic one, like when kids get from like when?
I don't know.
Here, kid, have a here. Elvis, have a plastic. Oh, thank you very much. Rolls back up.
So okay, so he gives the guy at the gate the letter, right? And to deliver to the president. So meanwhile, so somehow the letter gets into the White House.
Sure.
They probably have like some sort of protocol, a courier or something. It's like
sure.
check it,
Page
the dog,
or something.
dog sniffed it or whatever.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's from Elvis Presley. He was right there. He handed me the letter. Yeah, sure, Jenkins. Anyway, so they get the letter, and the letter's delivered to Nixon aide. I don't know how do you say this name? Egil? E-G-I-L? Eagle? Eggle?
I don't know.
Egil? But they called him Bud. Bud Crow.
Bud Crow.
K-R-O-G-H. Crow. Right?
Wow.
Wouldn't you call that Crow?
That's a cool name.
Egil Bud Crow. Never heard of him. And he happened to be an Elvis fan, of course. Right? So Crow loved the idea of a Nixon-Presley summit and persuaded his bosses, including White House Chief of Staff Bob Haldeman, to make it happen. Crow called the Washington Hotel and set up a meeting through Schilling.
That's what it would be. It wouldn't just be a meeting. It is a summit. Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But see, to me...
It's Elvis Summit. I like it.
To me, a summit... You think a summit just between the two of them? To me, a summit is like you got the big guys and then you got all the little guys around the big guys.
Exactly.
And this was more like a personal meeting, right? To me, a summit would be like Nixon would be there.
Khrushchev, right? That's a summit.
To me, Elvis,
Reagan and Gorbachev, they're summits.
Yeah, but there's always this entourage of little guys along. They have their little summits as the big guys have their big summit.
True,
right?
true.
Am I right?
True.
Because usually it's like you get together with your counterparts and you have your summit, and then the big guys have their summit, and then they get together and then they all sit around and have the big summit with the big guys.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, to me, a summit would be like you'd have Nixon there with Haldeman and Kissinger and those guys. Yeah. And then you would have Elvis with Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash.
Colonel Tom Parker.
Colonel Tom, exactly.
Right, gotcha.
Colonel Sanders, maybe.
Who knows?
You got some fried chicken? I'm getting hungry here at the summit.
I like you to meet my entourage. There's a Ronald McDonald. He makes one fantastic cheeseburger.
So around noon, Elvis arrives at the White House with his dude Schilling and bodyguard Sonny West. So one of his bodyguards.
The coolest name, Sonny and Bud.
Red was one of his bodyguards. He became an actor. Sonny West had just arrived from Memphis because they're all down in Memphis going, where the hell Elvis go? Where's Elvis? I don't know. You're his bodyguard. Where did Elvis go?
I got the perfect thing too, right? One of the guys in suits with the walkie-talkies, they've just realized that Elvis is gone, and it's like Elvis has left the building.
Yes,
he's out there. He's gone rogue. Oh, this is great.
In all seriousness, I mean, they're just like bodyguards and stuff, and they're just like literally like running around, going, "Where's Elvis? They're in Memphis. They're in headquarters, HQ." The King's HQ, Graceland.
Yeah.
It's like, have you seen Elvis? I don't know. You're the bodyguard, Sonny.
Right.
So they're calling around. Where's Elvis? Well,
sweat pouring down off a functionary's face. He's like, where's the king? Where's the king?
Yes.
And some guy comes in, he's shaking. He's like, he never picked up his donuts. Oh, man, it is serious. He is gone.
He is gone, right?
He flew the coop.
So Sonny West was probably a little concerned being one of his bodyguards.
Oh, sure, because he's like, oh, God, first it's Howard Hughes, now this, Elvis, God.
He had more than... Sonny, he had a few bodyguards. Yeah. So it was like, it's like he didn't go out without his entourage and bodyguards and people. So he's out flying around doing his thing with his guns and his badges out there on the airplane, and the bodyguards are like, that's like our job. It's to just like hang out. So anyway, so Sonny West, he arrives from Memphis to accompany Elvis to the White House.
That's great.
Okay, so this is black and white. So actually, I don't know if there's a color picture of this. It might just be black and white. Because this, I said black, but this was actually a purple velvet suit. This is purple velvet. Like
that adds a whole layer of style to it.
Oh, you know it's got to be
purple velvet.
Come on, purple velvet?
Oh yeah,
in that?
Yeah, yes,
come on.
Yeah, he's.
I'm ready to run out and get one.
Right, Elvis means business, man.
Maybe that's what I'm going to do in 2018 and for the show.
Yeah,
I swear jumpsuits and
red velvet, or purple velvet.
I know a guy, a friend on my Facebook and stuff.
Okay,
we could maybe invite him. He does the Elvis thing.
Really?
Oh yeah, he does the Elvis thing. And I love me a good Elvis thing.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah, I do loves me a good Elvis impersonator.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Tribute. So anyway, so he arrayed in a purple velvet suit with a huge gold belt buckle and amber sunglasses. Elvis came bearing a gift. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
A Colt .45 pistol mounted in a display case that Elvis had plucked off the wall of his Los Angeles mansion.
Oh, that's great.
I gotta bring a gift in for President of the United States.
Right.
Colt .45.
You know, I bet you Elvis was one of those guys that he used to name his guns. Every gun had a name. Mm-hmm. There's like ones like Lulu and the others.
I think you're onto something.
You know.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I'd like you to have Bernice. Bernice has been faithful.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much, King of Rock and Roll. This is wonderful.
Can you imagine Elvis's accent and then Nixon's things? I am not a crook. Give me that pistol.
Can you do something about the hippies?
Elvis, can you do something about Vietnam?
Yeah,
can you help us out?
Exactly.
Well, that's going to be one tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
But you know what? If anyone can do it, I can.
Elvis, what I can do.
Elvis, have you ever heard of plumbers? Do you know what plumbers do?
Give me that Ho Chi Minh. Oh.
That's right. Well, Ho Chi Minh, hoo-ha!
Oh, dear.
I love it.
I
love it.
It was a Colt .45 pistol. I can't believe how long this. Which the Secret Service confiscated before Crow escorted Elvis without his entourage to meet Nixon.
That's good. At least you know they're doing their job.
Yeah, Secret Service is like, we'll be taking the gun over here.
Right, they're like two fingers. Yeah, we'll take that. Yeah. Thanks, Elvis. Hey, don't you smudge it. Don't smudge.
As if the King of Rock and Roll would ever try to assassinate the president. But I'm sure
good.
In the protocol of the Secret Service, it's like, you never know how random they could be like, hey, let me show you how it works. Oh, my God, I shot the president. Mr. President, you shot me. King of Rock and Roll. You shot me.
Oh, I caught one in the thigh. Oh, sorry about that there. It kind of slipped.
There is, as we talk about alternative universes in the Matrix, there is an alternative universe where Elvis accidentally assassinates the President of the United States, Nixon.
That's right.
Oh, who's that guy? Sturgeon, with the guy who writes the alternative history. Somebody brought that up. The guy who writes the sci-fi books and stuff. And
my favorite.
And then there's the Philip Dick.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize was the man on the High Castle.
Yeah.
Right. Which is the alternative history. What if the Germans won the war and all that? So there's an alternative history there where Elvis is accused of assassinating Nixon, which then totally Watergate goes away. Oh, my God. I might have to write a story.
Right.
So he confiscates they go in without the entourage, just Elvis and Nixon. When he first walked in the Oval Office, he seemed a little awestruck. There you go, King of Rock and Roll. But he quickly warmed to the situation. I mean, so King was very, he's Americana. He's a church guy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I'll pull that up. I'll pull that up here.
Yeah.
So he goes in. White House photographer Ollie Atkins snapped photographs, which this one is the famous one. And the king shook hands. Then Elvis Then Elvis sits down with the president of the United States, Richard Nixon.
Grab a seat, King.
Grab. We'll just sit here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. President, let me show you my collection of police badges.
That's great.
Yeah, right? He does. No, that's apparently that's what happened.
That is great.
It's like, let me bring my toy cars in and show you.
Here's my Hot Wheels.
I know. So he's got his collection.
It's a 67 Vet. I got two myself.
Yeah, his toy collection of police badges.
That is great.
And he's showing Nixon. Now this one's from Dubuque, Iowa.
That's right.
It's like, that's fantastic.
Look at that. Just little Rock Poultry Inspector.
This
is great.
Oh, this one from Toledo is very shiny. Very, 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 very shiny.
Very. I'll trade you the nuclear codes for that one.
Oh my God! You could have like they're on the floor of the floor of the Oval Office, sitting like kind of Indian style, like Boy Scouts trading out. Oh, let me show. I got this. I mean, it's like
that is great.
What would Nixon have to trade? He'd like go off the shelf like some Civil War pewter sculpture. This is General Grant. I'll trade you this. I'll trade you this pewter General Grant for Toledo, Dubuque, and Tacoma.
Right, we got some hair from Lincoln's beard here. I can trade you that.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
You want Jackie?
The document was signed between Roosevelt and Churchill. I'll trade you this. Just don't tell the archives, okay?
Right. Get an alien from Area 51 if you want.
Oh man.
Okay, I'll take the alien.
Are you following this story?
This is great.
Are you just like...
This is great.
This is true.
They're on the floor
story.
In the Oval Office. He's showing them the badges.
Police badges. Okay.
That's great.
Here is... Now, you have to ask.
Okay.
You have to ask, Jason, because I know you're thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Nixon's famous taping system had not yet been installed, so the conversation was never recorded.
That is a travesty.
You see? So you think, wait a minute, Nixon?
Yeah.
White House? Tapes? Watergate?
Yeah.
Where is our tape recording of Nixon and Elvis trading badges on the floor of the Oval? Didn't happen.
The world has missed out on just a great... Oh,
but Bud Crow
excellent.
took notes.
Excellent.
So Presley indicated that he thought the Beatles had been a real force for anti-American spirit, according to Crow's notes. Paul, Ringo, George, John, anti-American.
Because by 70, Nixon had to have been at least halfway paranoid at that point. I mean, he had his own natural paranoia, but he's got to.
This is after 1968.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Democrat,
So he's feeling the heat a little bit.
Hippies, anti-war.
Yeah.
God. Well, no, that's to come later. So yes, Nixon was conservative.
Yeah.
He ran on the conservative American values. Was it like Phyllis Schlafly or whatever? Right. The first wave of feminism.
Yeah.
With Gloria Steinem.
Yeah.
First wave feminism. Mm-hmm. Sexual revolution.
Playboy.
Stonewall
riots. Yeah.
Stonewall riots.
Yeah.
With LGBT rights. Mm-hmm. All this stuff coming down.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech. Also, this was a time when, if you remember, in Hollywood, like pornography and stuff was illegal. Lenny Bruce
Lenny
right?
Bruce.
Get hauled off, arrested. Even what's his name? Jim Morrison of the Doors arrested on stage.
yeah.
You know, there's all this going on. This is all going on. This is 1970. Like 2 years of this going on. Riots, kids.
Yeah, this
was cultural war central.
Yeah, because I mean, this is just 2 years after MLK and 2 years after Robert Kennedy.
It's civil rights.
Yeah, it's
all going down.
Very tense.
And so Elvis coming in and talking to Nixon, who is the conservative choice. He's the America
silent
Vietnam,
majority.
We are America. You know, we're stop fighting and stop doing all this stuff. We're conservative, right?
Yeah.
He was conservative at the time, and so to have Elvis come in and say, I think this Beatles music and all this, it's no good for America, anti-American.
So this was Elvis that thought the Beatles was no good. Wow,
yes. Rock and roll
Elvis
had changed. Come on. Elvis is popular, right? He has his people, but his audience, like Elvis, is growing older, more into the older audience.
Yeah.
What are the kids listening to? The kids are listening to the Beatles, the Doors, the whole San Francisco Flower, Jefferson Airplane.
Oh yeah, Joplin.
Janis Joplin, all that stuff.
Right.
The hippie music. They're listening to the hippie music. And
Sorry, I don't know that one.
See, she doesn't even know it.
That was really weird.
Yeah.
Somehow we triggered the A lady. That was weird. So she must answer to Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin, could you?
I don't know that one.
Anyway, so that's what's going on. So that's kind of the cultural separation. Even though, interestingly enough, and I always think that this is kind of an irony in history, is who was John Lennon's influence and great influence in music? Oh, it was Elvis Presley. It was Elvis Presley.
Gotcha.
So the fact that Elvis didn't like the new movement and the Beatles and all that stuff was somewhat sad, because John Lennon, in the early days of the Beatles and the early days of his music career, really patterned himself after Elvis Presley. He was a huge Elvis Presley fan. In fact, if you look at pictures of John Lennon back in the early days of the Beatles, he's got the pompadour and he's
with the ducktail
he was an Elvis Presley guy. So there you go. Yeah. So anyway, so Nixon says, "I'm on your side." Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I think that was about drugs. And he's
the White Album, cocaine.
Oh, yeah. So I'm on your side. Elvis told Nixon. Oh, Elvis told Nixon. I'm sorry. Not Nixon. And so that he's been studying the drug culture. And,
I bet he has.
Oh, no. He's been studying this is according to these notes. He's been studying the drug culture and communist brainwashing. And then he asked the president for a badge from the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs.
Oh, that's great.
And then Nixon asked Crow, can we get him a badge? Again, this is according to the Smithsonian, so this is taken from these notes.
Bud Crow.
Bud Crow says he could, and Nixon ordered it done.
Oh, that's great.
Elvis was ecstatic, and in a surprising and spontaneous gesture, Crow wrote, Elvis put his left arm around the president and hugged him.
It's that deserves a...
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for you, big guy. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Before leaving, Elvis asked Nixon to say hello to Schilling and West, and the two men were escorted to the Oval Office. Nixon playfully punched Schilling in the shoulder and gave both men White House cufflinks. Oh. So now it's just like he's passing it out. He wants, do you want some white cufflinks? Those are from the White House. And then Elvis says, "Oh, Mr. President, they have wives too." So Nixon gave them each a White House brooch.
Oh. I bet you Priscilla liked that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what Elvis. I think poor Priscilla.
Yeah.
And then they took them to lunch at the White House mess. Mm-hmm. Elvis received his gift, the narc badge, and at Elvis' request, the meeting was kept secret. A year later, okay. So how did we find out about this? So this was a secret meeting.
A secret meeting.
This was a secret meeting.
All hush
so
hush.
We didn't know.
That is great. That even adds even more spice to it.
1 year later,
yes,
famous Washington columnist, people don't, Jack Anderson. You remember your old Jack Anderson?
Yeah.
Washington famous columnist, broke the story. Presley gets narcotics bureau badge, but few people seem to care. And that's probably because, the stuff was heating up, and 70, 71. So yeah, I don't know. In 1988, years after
71, you had the 71. That was firmly in the Rolling Thunder, bombing North Vietnam during that. Yeah, okay.
So in 1988, after Nixon resigned and Elvis had died. A Chicago newspaper reported that the National Archives was selling photos of the meeting, and within a week, some 8,000 people requested copies, making the pictures the most requested photographs in archives history. Hence,
it's the postcard.
This photograph of the king and the president.
That's great. That is
great. The National Archives gift shop sells T-shirts, coffee mugs, refrigerator magnets, snow globes, emblazoned with the image.
I gotta get a T-shirt.
Yeah, dude, a coffee mug? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I could. I mean, I got my R&R, my Twin Peaks, but I could go with a. Oh, look at this, man. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, on the coffee mug.
That's style right there.
Why is the photo so popular? Well, it's a powerful image.
It is.
And Bud Crow, says it's a jolt seeing them together. Here's the leader of the Western world and the king of rock and roll in the same place, and they're clearly enjoying each other. Right. And you think, how could this be? Well, how could this be? There are photographs here, and I'll try to pull these up and show the folks here. Since we've been talking about it.
There are Elvis T-shirts, Elvis and Nixon T-shirts.
My gosh. Why do I not have one of those? It's one of my favorite things.
Jeez, can we all guess what Jason's going to be ordering a little bit later online?
Yeah. So here's, we'll just show a picture here. Here's President Nixon inspecting. Oh, look at this. Okay, here you go, Jason. Take a look at the monitor there. President Richard Nixon inspecting Elvis's jewelry.
That's a nice wristwatch you got there.
Yeah, it's a wristwatch. Look at that. Look at that. There's this president looking. Here's the he was on American Airlines. On American Airlines, here is Elvis's hand. Dear Mr. President, first I would like to introduce myself. I am Elvis Presley, and I admire you, and have a great respect for you. That's part of the letter he wrote on the plane. This is the photograph, the famous photograph.
You see the note? You even had a little squiggle at the top where you're making sure the pen works.
Yeah.
That's
Here's
great.
the famous photograph that we showed earlier, and there's that. So yeah. Now, the question we had asked at the top of this was that I couldn't remember. I remember that he requested to be deputized, but I didn't know if he had. But he did. And you actually found. I wanted to pull up the photograph, since we've gone down this wonderful rat hole.
Oh yeah.
Because you found the photograph of the badge and
and
the thing. So I had to put it on here. There's a picture. Oh, is this a Colt 45?
There. Oh my gosh.
This is. Let's show the.
Take a look at that.
Colt 45. So this is the gift. This, folks, right here. This is the Colt 45 that Elvis gave Nixon. Apparently.
That's fantastic.
World War II era, war era. So that was the gun.
That's awesome.
that he gave Nixon. Looking for that. Bear with us here.
Yeah.
If we have it. Let's see. What was the? I've got the. There's the badge, but you had a I could
mine popped right up.
Yeah, I could zoom it in. Do you have it on your screen? Or we could zoom it in or something.
Let me see if I can.
Our screen sharing with the Androids turned out to not work very well. We tried early on. Here's the suit he wore. Where is that? The suit he wore is that in the Smithsonian? It's on Flickr. Well, it's in a museum. Maybe it's in Graceland. I don't know. Anyway, if you find that, you know what? Here, I'll just pull up. I'll pull up. This isn't. I don't know if this is the actual badge, but I'll pull up the. This is. You know, it doesn't matter. This is what he was. This is what. Oh no! This is it. This is it. This is it.
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley. There it is. So there's Elvis Presley's. You had like a thing where he had the ID card and everything. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So there's the badge. Yeah, and then there's. Yeah, you can't. Oh my God! It's so. It's. Oh, see now.
Kind of a little blurry. Yeah.
Elvis and Nixon. Maybe I'll try that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. So here we go. I'll do Elvis and Nixon. But there's the badge. Oh, see, we're kind of like in a lull. But I have one more thing about this. That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That I will share with you. Of course, now Google's taking its time.
Right.
Hello, Google.
Hello,
Googly. There we go. There it is. There's your picture. We were trying to find. Jason had found this wonderful picture that has the ID card, along with.
There it is.
There it is.
Here we go, folks.
Here we go, folks. It's worth. I think it's worth the wait. So you see up in the right-hand corner there's the famous picture, and then up in the right-hand corner is the Elvis Presley badge, which I showed you earlier. With the ID card. You have to have the ID card, and it says right there, if you look, United States Department of Narcotics, Elvis Presley, Special Agent. There's his photograph and his signature.
Deputy Elvis.
Deputy Elvis of the Narcotics.
That is awesome. I feel safe for him. You know?
Yeah, if we just would have had him for like you said, the Vietnam or whatever, we could have. So
do you really think Kent State would have happened if Elvis was on the scene? No way. Elvis is stopping that before it gets out of hand.
Man, you go dark.
No, I'm just saying he's making things right. You know?
So okay. So what I wanted to say about that is if you want to really have a great watch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have not seen this. There was a film called Elvis Nixon 2016. Drama history. So but what I was thinking is there was a documentary that came out way earlier than that. Oh, it only got 2.5 stars. It was not in 2016. I'm trying to see here. The documentary is very good, and it is a documentary. They do recreations. 1997. So I have not seen this other Elvis. I have not seen this other Elvis meets Nixon, this 2016 thing.
Yeah.
I have not seen that. But I have seen Elvis Meets Nixon 1997 film directed by, I hope. Maybe not. Oh, holy Moses. So there maybe have been two. Is this, yeah. I'm trying to think. I thought, so I saw a documentary. Well, this was a TV movie. But it had interviews with people like Dick Cavett and Edwin, the newscaster, Jerry Schilling. See, I have to look it up. I have a recording of this movie. 97, maybe not. Elvis Meets Nixon documentary. So 97, 2016. Again, the reason I say this is because the documentary was so good. Maybe it was the 97 documentary. I think it was called When Elvis. When Elvis? 1997 film. Maybe that's it. Oh well. See, now I'm confused because then there's a 2016 film which it looks like I'd never seen and haven't heard of, and there was like a little review thing that had like 2 stars or something. So apparently, not anything interesting. But this, I think it's the 1997 film. Maybe not. It was on HBO. I actually have a copy of it on VHS, which it was that good.
Excellent.
And I want to say it was, and it's recreated. I mean, someone plays Elvis. There's people who some
reenactment,
but it's reenactment. But then they do interviews with people, and then they do interviews like with Dick Cavett and Edwin. What was that? Edwin, that newscaster on CBS. He's in it.
Oh,
I think he's long gone. But, and they talk about the time, like what we were talking about the 60s and all that.
That's great.
So so it definitely was a lot of fun.
Elvis and Nixon.
Yeah, I got to pull that out now that we talked about it because I haven't seen it in so long because I got to share it with you.
Yeah,
I will. We will figure this out. We're not gonna. It's copyright material, but it was like a HBO thing or something that they did, and it was just such a wonderful. I want to say it came out a few years after. Again, we talked about '88.
I wonder if Netflix has it.
1988. They might actually, but '88 was when they really dug all this up, and it became like this sensation in the late '80s.
Yeah.
But before that, people weren't aware.
Yeah, well, I'm ordering a Nixon Elvis T-shirt.
You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. So that was when Elvis met Nixon.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It is the 1997 film because Bob Gunton, actor Bob Gunton, plays Nixon, and I remember he was pretty good in it. So it is the 1997 film. Comedy mockumentary is what they call it because they fill in some blanks. They don't, they actually talk about and they recreate like Elvis on the plane and stuff. Well, they don't really have much of a firsthand account,
right?
And Bob Gunton, this actor, plays a really fun Richard Nixon.
Nice.
So they fill in, kind of the blanks, and they do that whole like documentary kind of a thing where they have holes in the timeline and stuff, and then they show some recreations. But it's just a highly entertaining film. That's from 1997, Elvis Meets Nixon. We'll look it up and see. So it's 7 of 10 on IMDb. 86% liked it. I thought it was because it's fascinating because you watch this whole thing and these details we're talking about from the article. I mean, this is like the first time I'd ever seen this account, and they're going through the account of this whole thing, and you're like, no. And the funny thing is the point they're good in this movie. I thought in Elvis Meets Nixon to say, this we can only they'll go, we can only speculate what he was doing on the plane and then do a recreation of it, right? Yeah. But then when it's like showing the badges and the jewelry, it's like this actually happened. Like the guys, the news people and the people who they interview in the documentary will come back and go, this actually happened.
It is so surreally weird and funny that it amazes me. Elvis and Nixon. I mean, you couldn't have on the surface of it, you couldn't find almost 2 more polar opposites. Here's the king of rock and roll meeting with Mr. Uptight, white, silent majority Nixon,
Oh, yeah.
And let me that's a nice badge you got there. Can I see that there?
You almost have to wonder too, with Nixon being such a conservative that he was coming up. Although he was New York too, he was kind of, I don't know. He was a weird. Nixon definitely was a weird dude.
He was.
If you read the biographies and stuff, he was an odd guy.
I read a new biography that came out last year, just called Nixon. It actually made the bestseller list for a while. He was a very mercurial guy, very complex. Always got undervalued as far as his cerebral acumen. And turns out Nixon was a very bright guy. He was constantly underrated.
Very smart.
Yeah, underrated, and people just kind of sloughed him off as kind of, just that's just a tricky dick. But he was also very he had a huge chip on his shoulder because he grew up very poor.
Yes,
and he
as a Quaker.
Yeah, and
if I recall,
as soon as he went to school and the university, he deeply resented the blue blood, East Coast, country club, Harvard, sort of people, and which it's also really weird that when Nixon and because history, folks, Nixon and Kennedy, JFK. Were starting their careers around the same time.
Oh yeah.
And how when Kennedy first ran for the House, he shared a train, I think, for a while with Dick Nixon, and they actually developed a kind of quasi friendship.
Isn't that weird? Because it would be later that they would appear on the first televised presidential debates, which I believe were the first televised. For the presidency of the United States, of which Nixon lost. Nixon was sitting vice president. He was Eisenhower's vice president at the time that he was running for the Republican ticket of the presidency, and Jack Kennedy beat him. Yeah,
and Nixon, after that debate, Nixon felt. Which is a rare experience because when you think of humanity, you don't think of Dick Nixon, right? Mm-hmm. But he was very betrayed, I think is the right word, because he genuinely, JFK and Nixon genuinely, behind the scenes, behind the cameras, liked each other. And he felt betrayed during that... during the debate. He thought it was going to be an issues debate, we have this report going and then, of course, JFK, though, knows how to work the TV angle. He knows
Well, they say with that debate that if you just listened to the debate... You thought
Nixon won.
If you listened, didn't look at the pictures, didn't look at the TV.
Right.
If you listened to the debate and listened to the and this was back... Folks, I'm sorry, but this was probably back in the day when people actually debated things like politics and stuff, and it wasn't just personal attacks like, I don't know, like the last presidential debates that we watched for this last go-around. My God, what is this garbage?
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I mean, anyway. But they said that when you listen to the debates, that Nixon won the debate. Yeah. I mean, like he won the debate on point, on points and everything. But the problem was the people who tuned in, and again, this was like the first time you'd see this on television. People had televisions. This is like when the internet is new, or when you get on Facebook, it was like, wow, you got to check this live stream out or whatever, right? And so they checked this out, and when they watched it, Kennedy looked great. Yeah. He's slick. And Nixon was sweating, and he looked terrible
behind the scenes, right?
On television,
right? Behind the scenes during the debate and before the debate. This only leaked out later after the debate was over. Nixon had the flu.
Oh,
he was sick, right? And so he shows up there, and he's got a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes,
and he didn't want. I don't want makeup. Do not put makeup on me. Because I don't know if he thought that was more effeminate or whatever.
Or being I would say authenticity.
Right. So I mean, he's sweating, because the lights are 1 billion degrees. He's got the flu. He's actually
lights were really hot back in the old days of television,
and he was dehydrated too.
They're like 100 degrees in those TV studios.
Yeah,
I mean the cameras were. Had
brutal.
Tubes in them. I mean, it's not like, it's like...
Yeah. So imagine, I mean, this guy's got the flu. He's dehydrated.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't shaven, does not want makeup on. He's sweating. He looks pale,
Yeah, I did not know about the flu thing.
Yeah.
That's news to me. I did not know about that. That actually makes more sense now because he was like sweating and looked terrible on TV. And that's what viewers watched. And they said, Jack Kennedy, man, he's the guy. We like Jack Kennedy. He
looks presidential.
And this guy Nixon, no way. So,
but I see. I didn't know about the flu either until I read that book. And he was suffering from flu, wasn't feeling well. I guess his team was begging Nixon, postpone it, call it off. Do not do this. You're not up to the task. You're not feeling well. But Nixon thought, no, it's this is important. I've got to show the country. And then
there's a nice little photograph
history,
right here of what we're talking about. Of Nixon and during the debate, apparently.
Yeah.
And Nixon wiping himself up, and Jack Kennedy's looking real spry and young, and of course he's young,
cool, young, hip, urbane.
Nixon was relatively young too at the time. Too, he was. They were kind of contemporaries, I want to say, in age.
Yes.
Ways. So in
yeah, they came into government
Nixon
together.
And the presidency and all that stuff. You still think about when Jack Kennedy's the Democrat nominee to run Nixon, who was the vice president.
Yeah.
And he was a young Republican, a young conservative too, so it was a good matchup, I think, politically. Like if Kennedy had run against like Eisenhower, well, he couldn't because Eisenhower had finished his terms, but like an older man.
Yeah. And also the dynamics behind the scenes too. And I know we switched gears off of Elvis, but
switch gears off of Elvis,
right? We're switching gears. Eisenhower hated Nixon.
I was just gonna say,
never wanted him on the ticket.
I was just gonna say that isn't Eisenhower like? Well, he kind of like hated him. He didn't like Jack Kennedy very well
not at all.
Like at the inauguration, I guess Eisenhower was real frosty.
He was,
with Jack Kennedy.
He didn't like Jack Kennedy. And part of the reason is he didn't like Joe Kennedy.
Oh yeah.
And the whole
nobody liked Joe Kennedy.
No, bootlegger Joe.
No. This goes back Jack Kennedy, the Kennedy family, Joe Kennedy, a Irish who had ties to bootlegging and
possibly
and things like that.
Allegedly,
during Prohibition. I think it's a little more than alleged. I think it's pretty much written.
It's where his fortune came from.
It's where the fortune came from.
Yeah.
I mean, but hey, captains of industry. I mean, where do they make the fortunes? Off the backs of. I mean, probably bootlegging was probably a nicer. Well, probably not a nicer thing because people are carrying guns and getting rubbed out. I mean,
right.
But still, if you think of the captains of industry, it's like, where do you run a sweatshop and you have children in it and make all your money like a JP Morgan or a Carnegie, or you run a bootleg. I don't know,
right.
Which is worse,
Yeah, and Eisenhower did not like stumping for Nixon and was very reluctant to do it. Only did it a few times.
And Nixon, so the thing about Nixon is he was raised, I can't remember, somewhere in the Midwest or the Dust Bowl or somewhere.
Yeah, when he's a kid, they moved from the West out to San
like
Clemente.
Oklahoma or somewhere. Yeah. Then California. And it was like, wasn't it like Dust Bowl stuff? I mean, it was complete.
It was. They migrated.
Like Dust Bowl, like they, poor, like his family was not.
Yeah.
He was poor.
Yeah, it was a dirt poor. Dad eventually opens a small store where Nixon works during his high school years. Pretty much seen as outsiders because they're not rich. I mean, you're right. They're dirt poor.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing that Nixon always hated through his life, and that's why part of the reason the way he was is he hated the blue bloods back east with a passion, right? Because he never the elites. He didn't fit in
because he wasn't an elite.
Yep.
He was a self-made.
He was a self-made man,
guy.
And
he became a lawyer. He went to law school. Became a lawyer.
Yep.
Like a successful. But here's the thing. Well, didn't he then move? Was he like New York? as I recall, because I read about Nixon years ago. He goes to New York and is like a New York lawyer, and then gets into politics. Isn't that how it works?
Yep. Well, he
kind of Lincoln-esque almost.
Kind of.
I mean, if you can believe, folks, that we're talking about Richard Nixon, president, and some disgrace in Watergate.
Yeah.
And we almost call him Lincoln-esque as his story arc because he's poor.
Humble beginnings.
Poor.
Yeah.
From nowhere.
Yeah.
Brings himself up. Goes to New York. Goes to the big city. Makes his way as a lawyer. Cracks
into that world. High-powered New York lawyer. They tell him, listen, guy, if you're going to run for, because after, he was in the Navy too. A lot of people don't realize that he had a pretty decent little naval career, and he wanted to run, and they told him, you will not win in New York. Don't even think about it. I know you live here. You got to go home. You got to go to California. Can you get residency there just so you can run? And so he does. He goes back maybe 2 weeks out of the year to qualify as still living also in California, and so he runs.
Now this is. Are you talking about him running? Was he a senator or is it the primaries? Do you
Yeah, I'm going to get this wrong. I know I think he was in the House for one term, ran as a senator,
he was a representative. Okay.
And him and Kennedy actually, they started their service, within the House the same year. They were freshmen. I'm gonna representatives.
Look it up right here. He was, because we might as well. He was, yes, you were right, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from California's 12th District. So that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He went back from New York, where he worked, to go to California and run for the House from 1947 to 1950 in the House of Representatives. And then he became then Nixon was the United States Senator from California. I actually didn't know that. I didn't recall. I just remember as vice president and presidential. 1953 to 1960. Oh, I'm sorry. 1950 to 1953.
Yeah.
He is the United States Senator from California. And so, like you said, this is when he and Jack knew each other.
They were friends. They were on friendly terms with each other. And the funny thing is when Nixon became a senator, Kennedy took it as he one-upped me. He's now a senator. I'm just down in the House. I need to be in that fueled his Senate run. Because remember, folks, at the time, they told him, kid, because Kennedy was still kind of a kid. What behind the ears, guy. He said, listen, you're going to have to run out of Massachusetts. You can win out of there. But a lot of people don't remember this. The guy he took on for the seat in the Senate, if you'll remember, is Henry Cabot Lodge.
Oh yeah,
who was an institution, right?
Yep.
And people thought Kennedy, when he announced that he was going to run for the Senate, people thought he was nuts. You're going against, it'd be like running against, it would be like in Arizona running against John McCain. So what the hell are you doing? What the heck are you doing?
So here's what it is. I'll just pull up. We'll just pull up a couple of facts because I want to know. So 1913, 1917. So Nixon's 4 years older than Kennedy.
Yeah.
Okay, just based on birth. 53 to 60, 53 to 60 is Kennedy is the senator from Massachusetts, preceded by Henry Cabot Lodge, an institution.
Oh, yeah.
And again, 1950 to 1953 is Nixon is a senator from California. So they cross paths together. So they're colleagues in the Senate, and so they know each other. And then Nixon becomes the vice president of the United States. Dwight Eisenhower picks him as vice president, 1953 to 1961. And then he is elected president in 68. So 69 to 74, he didn't make it 1.5 terms, basically.
Right, and
so, because of Watergate.
And Nixon, after he leaves the White House, after he gets beat by Kennedy, all right, he goes on a downward spiral. I mean, think about it. In the years beyond this, people forget that he, after the fact, after he lost to Kennedy, a few years later, he ran for governor of California and lost.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't even win the governor of California, and people thought his career was DOA. You know,
another guy he reminds me of George H. Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, not George W. Because H. Bush, had some of these guys in politics, they have like this kind of thing where it's like they run, like H ran for some stuff, and people said, "Dude, you never forget it."
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
And he lost, and then later became vice president, and then president. You know, like it's kind of like, oh, nobody wants me. Well, now, you know.
Right, yeah.
Was H the CIA
he was
director under Nixon?
And people thought
so. George H.
Yeah,
Bush
he was CIA under also under a little bit under
grab ass from the real chair.
Lyndon too,
H.
right?
Bush.
Right.
No,
but that hurt HW. When he first thought about running, you know, after the CIA gig, people were like, "Dude, people are going to hate you as head of the CIA."
Was the issue. Yeah, I think that was the issue.
And so he had to, instead of running out of the East, he had to chorus. You got to go home to Texas, you know, and do that. And
so I mean, it was like So there you go, Kennedy, Nixon.
There you go.
Which, gosh, could you imagine the story arcs of those guys? It's like one is assassinated, the other one resigns in disgrace. I mean, jeez, what a.
Yeah.
This is the 60s, folks.
Welcome to the 60s.
You got the story.
Yeah.
Of Elvis and Nixon, baby.
There you go.
You would think they would have written a song about that.
Yeah, I imagine
maybe secretly Kentucky Rain is about meeting Nixon. I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine that's some like B-side from like
in the ghetto,
Steve Earle or something.
I'm sure there are songs. I didn't look it up. So we gotta go.
Yeah,
but that was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun. I enjoyed it. You never know what's going to happen. There's two things. I looked at the news. We know what's going on in the news. All this Davos and this and that and more of this and more of that. All this crazy stuff.
A little bit of this.
I did see this I had no idea about this.
Okay.
This was the news item that caught this morning. I knew nothing about this. Astronomers enraged by huge man-made star that has vandalized the sky. That's according to The Independent.
Mm-hmm.
Space spotting, how to see humanity, star, and other objects in orbit. And Fox News, I think probably more accurate, disco ball launched into space glistens in orbit.
Nice.
So apparently, we have launched a giant glistening disco ball in orbit that a man-made star. I don't know why. I'll have to read up on this. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't know.
Someone lost a bet, right? They're sitting there like, "Hey, if I win, you have to launch that disco ball into space."
I keep up. I keep up with the space news, and this was news to me. Like as I was looking at the news this morning, I was like, "What's this?" I haven't, But anyway, and the other thing is, I was just gonna mention really quickly because I really like this. I'm drinking a different coffee today.
No dark roast.
No, it's a dark roast. Yeah. But I was gonna say it's from the happy. My kid gave me this. Daughter gave me this for the holidays, whatever. It's called the Happy Cup Coffee Company in Portland. You ever heard of these people?
I have
Their
not.
mission: Happy Cup Coffee is a specialty coffee roaster in Northeast Portland that was created to fulfill 3 missions: offer employment, a competitive wage, and full life to adults with disabilities and our local community, our people with potential, help create a better future for the disabled by donating a percentage of our profits to vocational and recreational programming for this community, and deliver a responsible, great-tasting cup of coffee.
Wow.
And it's also,
very cool.
The coffee beans are sourced, ethically sourced and stuff. Yeah, very cool. Very good coffee. Yeah. And I was like, really, I got this thing and I was like, oh, this is very cool.
I like it,
so, I like it too. I like it too. let's all more business like that.
Happy Cup
Please.
Coffee.
Yeah, Happy Cup Coffee. So I'm just, that's a shout out.
We may need to talk to somebody from that, because that is a cool story.
Yeah, I mean that's a good.
I want to know more about that.
So did I, because I got this coffee and I made the coffee. The coffee's good. Coffee's very good. And it was like I'm reading this thing on their package here, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And what could go better with Coffee with Curmudgeons? Coffee with Curmudgeons.
That's right.
Then Happy Cup Coffee.
I guess you can get them at New Seasons and some stuff around. So there you go.
Very cool.
Yeah, New Seasons Market and Whole Foods. So check it out, and feel good about that stuff too. It's always good about products like that.
Yeah,
I love that, and we need.
In 2018, more of it.
In 2018, if there's one thing we need more of, is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Ethics in business, companies that give back, that help the social good, because we know that our government folks and our people aren't going to do it. So
right.
I like it, though. It's very cool. Me too. So, well, that's a wrap, Jason.
Yep.
And that was fun. That might go on the highlights. We have a schedule too. There's some
right.
Coffee with Curmudgeons.
The Deathbed Confession show's coming out.
The Deathbed Confessions show. Right. The cool thing about those shows is they're not like these 2 hours of us just going on and on. They're 30 minutes.
Bite-sized.
And boy, that's a lot of work.
I bet,
to put those shows into 30 minutes. But we have that one, and we have another one going on, and so we're excited about that. So I'm hoping to hear more. I'm hoping to hear more phone calls coming in about those. I hope.
Have we checked the hotline lately?
We have. The phone calls definitely come in like during the TV program, because they actually put it in prime. Kind of, they show them right in prime time, so someone's there watching TV, which is thanks Open Signal,
right?
So anyway, we'll see how that goes. So
love it. All right. What's your big plans for the weekend? What's going on?
Gosh, isn't there like sports?
Kind of
sports, right? So we're getting ready for the
Super Bowl's next weekend.
Super Bowl's next weekend. The
Pro
Eagles,
Bowl. Yeah, Eagles against the New England Patriots.
New England Patriots, which I found out we can talk next week.
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to be okay because Tom Brady's like a vegetarian or something like that, right? So anyway, but yeah, the New England Patriots, wow, and the Eagles. Is Philadelphia Eagles?
Philly.
Yeah, and they beat the Minnesota Vikings.
They creamed the Vikings. It wasn't even competitive.
So I hear the Vikings have had a great season. They're doing great, but I hear that probably the Eagles were a little bit.
Eagles have a
better.
Eagles have a way better defense.
That was a scuttlebutt that I've heard, and you know how much I follow professional football.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want a bright side to the Vikings, they're a very young team, and they're gonna be back.
I like that. You know what? I always liked their uniforms. I could be a Viking. I always dug the purple, like when I was a kid, and I followed the little, when there were like 8 NFL teams or something, the Dolphins and the Vikings, and
We need to check out something. I was on the way here this morning, and something popped up on the radio, and I need to bird dog it down and see if it's true or not. Someone said something about, I believe, folks, look it up. I'm not sure. Grain of salt. But the XFL may be coming back.
No. That's actually, I was going to give you a follow-on. Vince McMahon yesterday.
Yeah.
It was all announced. XFL is back. Vince McMahon.
There you go. Competing football.
Because the NFL is, having its issues with its fans and whatnot. And I don't care. I'm like, whatever, But XFL is coming back. Vince McMahon announced it. That was all in the sports headlines.
There was
yesterday.
And the reason why my antennas went up was there is a possibility that there has been reach outs. Portland has been discussed.
Now, how does that work? Is it indoor? Is it outdoor? Do they have the same big field as football?
Same thing as football, yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's basically, is it
outdoor or dome, whatever?
It's just
little different rules.
But it's football.
It's
basically American football.
Yep.
Not the football. Yeah.
Right. If you're outside the U.S., it's not your type of football.
Well, there's like a Winter Olympics going on, and North Korea and South Korea. I don't know. Anything else? So what? There's a game.
Pro Bowl this weekend too.
What's that one?
Pro Bowl. It's like the All-Star game for the NFL.
Okay, and there's an All-Star game coming up for NBA at some point too. I think.
Yeah, and they. Speaking of that, the NBA they changed the way they do that this year. They have team Stephen Curry against Team LeBron James.
Yes.
And was it LeBron or Curry? One of them picked Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I was just going to say
Lillard's going.
I think it's Curry.
Yeah,
no,
I think the shooter. Right. Yeah. One picked the shooters, and then one picked the.
Damian Lillard. I was just going to look this up because I thought I'd seen the headline. Damian Lillard will be on the All-Star team. He's been snubbed before.
Yes, yeah.
Trailblazer Lillard will play on Team Stephen. They say Stephen here, but I think it's Steph Curry in the NBA All-Star. Which is so it's not West and East. Curry. It's not West and East, is what you're saying.
Yeah, this year they're trying
out
a new thing.
Even though it is LeBron and it's the Cavs and the. So anyway,
right, yeah. LeBron
confusing.
took all the big players. He went for size, and then Stephon went for the shooters.
Yeah, baby.
Speed.
Oh, that'll be fun, actually.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to watch because that's always the debate in the basketball.
Yeah.
You go small, you go tall, you go, right?
Yeah, and then Westbrook thought he got snubbed because when they announced the people, he was the last person to be named, and so he took it as an offense until someone after his game. So he gets mad last night. Yeah. He goes out and scores like 42 points because he's trying to...
I'm angry.
Yeah, I'm angry.
See, now I love it when an NBA star gets angry because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Like you never pissed off Michael Jordan during the... If Jordan got like a bad breakfast or something, he'd score 50 points against you in that playoff. And be like, no, he's mad. It's
right.
like, I'll show
be
you.
nice to LeBron. You don't want him going off.
Because he'll like 45 points.
Or Curry, right?
Yeah,
be nice to him.
Oh, you want some of this? Yeah.
But it's funny. They're in the locker room after the game. The reporters, around in their little circle around him. And he was like, yeah, I got picked last. I was kind of angry. And then you can hear, I heard the sound bite. You hear this, you hear his voice, like you're like kind of, a reporter like, Russ, the list was put out alphabetical order, don't you? Your name's Westbrook, so it's down.
You're the last person.
Yes. So he's like, I feel better. It was hilarious. He got all mad and went out there and scored all these points because he has a chip on his shoulder, and then a reporter has to tell him, no, dude, it's in alphabetical order. You didn't get snubbed. Okay.
Why am I last on this list?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
He thought he was being snubbed. It's just alphabetical.
I remember one other thing that's really big this weekend. It's a big Grammy weekend.
It is.
You mentioned Elton John.
The Grammys are back. Elton also announced.
New York City, Madison Square Garden, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's Madison.
Elton announced he's retiring. He's going on a 3-year, 300 city farewell tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Grammys.
Grammys are this weekend.
Not that I don't follow them that closely, but and I think it's in New York. It had moved.
Is it Barclays Center or is it Madison Square?
That's what I wanted to look and see.
It's either in Brooklyn or Manhattan.
Grammys 2018. Where is it? I want to say it's Madison Square Garden. The Madison Square Garden. The 60th Grammy Awards at Madison Square Garden.
It is award show season now.
Yeah, so that's right.
About another month or so, we're going to have Golden Globes, and then there was the SAG Awards. The
SAG Awards happened.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, SAG Awards happened, the Golden Globes, then the Academy Awards, and everybody like,
and the Tonys or whatever.
Yeah, it's just so much stuff to watch.
There
Wow. Maybe we should have our own awards. The Curmudgeons Award, if it's awards season.
We may have to do that.
We might have to do... Yeah, we need to talk about it. But we'd have to have a production meeting.
We talk about that. Yeah.
Which we have all the time, right, Jason?
All the time.
Oh, yeah, just like...
all the time.
Hours and hours of production. We're going to talk about this... Oh, good. Let's talk about this Elvis Nixon thing.
Right. But people don't know.
Never happens.
Is we sit around a table and we brainstorm for hours.
No.
We don't? Oh, okay, we don't.
Every time you see this... we don't know what we're going to do.
No.
We do it on the fly. We improvise.
Yeah.
All this stuff we did today about Elvis and Nixon.
Improv, yeah.
Completely improv. I had no idea we were going to talk about Elvis and Nixon.
I thought we were
no
gonna,
clue.
I thought we were going to talk about Bigfoot.
I don't even. So did I. Actually,
yeah. The thing that was sent.
Well, we'll table that. Yeah, see, we actually exchange little messages about, oh, that's interesting, and then we come in and do something entirely different.
An entirely new direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like word jazz.
Yeah.
Word jazz.
This is just one big riff.
Anyway, it
is
always
a 2-hour
amazes
riff.
me that it even, like, unfolds. Yeah, so Grammy Awards are this weekend, so that'll be like lots of people. New York City.
Yeah.
Elton John, I think, is in town performing. So New York City's on lockdown with the Grammys 60th. That'll be interesting. I think they got some stuff planned. And we'll do the Coffee with Curmudgeons Awards. And I think sports-wise, you know what I always look forward to, and then it gets a little, I run out of time to see it, but I want you to help me with this.
Okay.
Actually, I want you to help me, like, make me accountable, because I really want to get on. I like March Madness. I love the basketball, the college basketball.
Are we going to do our own Curmudgeons picks?
I think we should. Yeah, I think we should. I think we should really try to do the March Madness thing, because that's really... March Madness is some good stuff.
It's great
That's some
stuff.
good sports. You don't even have to like sports if you don't watch
Every year, man, there's drama. There's that one Cinderella team that comes out of nowhere, and they threaten, It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Some tiny university,
Yeah. And it's entertaining. It's fast moving.
It is.
It's not boring.
Nope.
Not like sitting there going, oh, what's happening? It's like, no. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So, yeah, March Madness is good. So, yeah. But Grammy Awards and, I think that's about it.
Is that it? Yeah.
Anyway, so any last words? Otherwise, we're out of here.
Well, be good to each other. We will see you
please.
again on Monday. We say that every Friday, but I am bound and determined.
Okay.
If I have to show up here in a gurney, I'm showing up here in a gurney. I will make it on Monday because there's a lot of stuff going on over the weekend, and we need to talk about it. And I still want to talk about Bigfoot.
Oh yeah. Well, we got that in the list.
Yeah, in the queue.
There was a gurney. There was a gurney on the Facebook marketplace. Because I've been doing the selling stuff, as you know.
There's a gurney.
An actual classic, but it was like a vintage classic gurney.
I still want to get that hearse.
Well, there you could get the hearse.
The NuzBox.
There was a hearse.
Yeah.
A classic Cadillac hearse.
Yeah.
That someone was selling.
Yeah.
And then just yesterday, I saw this gurney. But, like, it's not like I don't know what a new gurney looks like. I'm sure it's all high-tech and everything. This is like the old-school gurney with the shaky, wobbly things, like, go in the Cadillac ambulance.
Yeah.
Like, you think of, like, as probably like a movie prop or something. But
Marcus Welby would have had a gurney like that.
You know what I was going to do? I mean, we're like, supposed to go. But I was going to share my stuff, which I actually apparently have sold. My stuff.
Let's do it Monday.
Video.
Let's do it Monday.
Well, it's going to be sold. It's going to be gone.
We can still show the video.
I could.
I can bring in some golf clubs if you want.
Maybe I'll just roll out, since I missed I have to fix the intro anyway. I could just roll out. You know what? Instead of the normal rollout, I could just roll out the video.
You could.
Right?
You could. And if you want, I got a huge plaster cast of a Bigfoot that was actually signed by the guy on the Finding Bigfoot TV show. We can always...
Ooh, yeah. I'm looking
that.
for... I'm just looking through these things. The Jello, oh, God. More reasons why Doc Normal hates Jello. Jello salad recipes.
The tuna ring?
The tuna ring.
Yeah, that's not...
Green lime Jello tuna. Oh, my God.
Surrounded by tuna fish.
I know what we were going to talk about. 1-900 numbers from the 90s. Remember that one?
Pick up the phone.
We've got so many to share with you folks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Delilah, and I'm sitting here on a Saturday night. You need to give me a call now.
I am going to show this because
pick up the phone.
I think it's gone and sold.
I like it.
So I'll just stop it, guy. So I guess instead of the rollout, I'll just show the it's a minute long. My little
Yeah.
thing that I'm selling.
Yeah.
That I made a video for.
Yeah.
It was all right.
I like it.
All right. Well, that's good. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Hey, so welcome to Buy My. That's right, Buy My. Come and get and buy my. Okay, this is a Sansui QRX 5500A, introduced in 1975. It's in really good condition, even though it's from 1975. It'll look really great in your tiki bar. Maybe you're like having martinis or trying to impress someone, like with some vinyl records or something like that. Over there on the left, you have like a treble and bass for all the 4 channels. It's got 4 channels, not just 2, just 4 channels, front, main, back, just kind of like your car. Look, you can even plug in a mic and do the level control right here and like sing like karaoke to it. It's pretty cool. Well, here's the back part. You got all the FM, AM antennas. You got 2 channels. You can plug in 2 record players. You can plug in 2 CD players or DVD or something. 2 tape decks. You can plug all this stuff in. It's really crazy. And then all the speakers. You only have like A and B speakers, but then you have the back speakers too. It doesn't even matter if it's 2 channel. It'll make surround sound. Look at all those like VU meters. Oh man, those are great with all the lights. Everything's working. Oh man, this is so good. It's so vintage. It's amazing. It's crazy. You can read all the specs on the web. It's all up there. So this is vintage, just like this vintage pipe here, or like this cross pen and pencil silver set, like this fedora, that's vintage. And these Varney sunglasses from the 80s, those are kind of vintage too. And this Rolex, fake Rolex I bought in New York. And these Python boots. Oh my god, I'm a vegan. I can't keep those. Oh, by the way, the speakers and record player are not included. This will look good on your shelf, like in your basement. YouTube really doesn't like music. The best I can show you, like some music.
Small chances.
That's right, buy my Sansui QRX 5500A. Oh man, it's amazing.